Wherever there's an episodic series, you can bet two men will talk to you. AJ Talon and Owen Finch give their thoughts on Owen and AJ Talks.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the penultimate episode before the two-part season finale of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm Owen Finch, and I'm here with
AJ Talon. Owen, this isn't Lucky Girl. This is it. You little sneaky guy. You told me this was Lucky Girl. All right, well, guys, I guess I'll see you next week. You know what? Change of plans.
I guess I'm going. Yeah, Finn's plans change. I remember the end of the last video. I went through this whole list of all these videos we were going to do. Lucky Girl was supposed to be first, but what ended up happening is my friend wanted to hang out last minute, so AJ decided, let's just do Avatar, because we're only doing a video one day this week, and we'll just pick up Ben 10 next week. So
yeah, you pulled the Darth Vader. I've altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Actually, I think you altered the deal, actually. I just,
Yeah, because we were going to do Lucky Girl, and I was like, fuck it. Might as well do the Avatar, and then we can just keep going with Ben.
Yeah, But yeah, I'm happy we're at this point, though. It took us a while to get to this point. Definitely a lot longer than we wanted, but I'm happy we're at this point. I think we should just get this out of the way. We kind of talked about this in the last couple Avatar episodes. 4 videos ago, and then 2 videos ago before that, but I think we'll just talk about it now. Obviously, it's kind of, if you watch this episode in context, it's like, obviously fine, we'll get into that, but obviously kind of knowing, this is kind of the beauty of doing a show we already know the result of, because we can kind of talk about this stuff. We can't really do that with some of the other stuff, because either we haven't seen it all, or one person hasn't seen all of that stuff, so I think it's kind of good to talk about this. Unfortunately, we only get 2 episodes in the North Pole, because it's this episode and then the 2-parter, Sage of the North.
And obviously, shit is hitting the fan in Siege of the North. We don't really get much time in the North Pole. This is really our only episode, to see the North Pole before, the whole invasion happens.
And even then, as we talked about off camera, the Zuko plot isn't even in the North Pole. It's them going to the North Pole and all that type of stuff, and that kind of takes up a good probably half of the episode and everything like that type of thing too.
Maybe a little less, but yeah. So while we both agree we like this episode, I think we are a little harsher on it because it is just we've spent this is episode 18.
Yeah,
we've spent 17 episodes being we're going to the North Pole, we're going to the North Pole, and then we just get barely any time there. Especially considering it's called Book 1 Water, we've spent 85% of the season in the Earth Kingdom.
It's weird because the next book is Earth, so it's just what happened.
Yeah. So and I think we're also going to talk about it. They definitely fix that next season where we get 5 episodes in Ba Sing Se, which is great. I love those episodes. So and again, we like a lot of this episode, but we just want more of it. Which is we're going to talk about the Zuko plot, the Sokka plot, the bending training. We like what's there. It's not bad. It is just it's rushed, and we wish it was extended another episode or 2.
And again, I think if you watch this episode first viewing, you would think, okay, this is all fine, but I think you notice it's rushed because we're not going to get a lot of time in the North Pole. So okay, this all could have been stretched out a little bit more and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to because I think our cousin, when you were down, not this recent time, but the time before that, was watching Avatar. So it would have been interesting. I mean, she wasn't at this point yet, but it would have been interesting to see what she would have thought of this episode. And then obviously we would come back and like she would like see there's only like 2 other episodes left, so it'd be interesting to see like what she would have thought of all that. Like, wait, what happened? Like we just like we skipped a lot. They put. Hey, you remember how you said Avatar takes a lot of inspiration from Star Wars? They definitely did that. They like decided let's just do a month of stuff off screen, let's like Star Wars did, and just have it be. But instead we'll have it be important shit, not like the not important stuff, but. First, though, we gotta do wikis, because it wouldn't be an Owen and AJ Talks video without wikis.
Return of the Jedi. Sweating.
We did wikis, though. You know, we did dates and stuff, so...
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, you get to guess the episode air date. I almost gave it away by accident, so...
Yeah, I remember from last time they took a 2-week break. I don't remember when that was, though. I think it was like...
Can I give you a hint?
October. I think it was like October 21st. So I'm going to guess this one is October 28th, 2005.
All right, let's see what's going on here. I'm going to go with the Northern Air Temple. No, it's not. You know, I think you went back. I think you forgot it when the break was. So I think they took another break because Northern Air Temple was November 4th, 2005, and the Waterbending Master was November 18th, 2000. So they took another 2-week break, I guess, type of thing.
Guys, again, they were looking into the future, be like, all right, is this guy AJ? Fuck him. We got to take a 2-week break.
But yeah, November 18th, 2005 was when this... I was going to give you a hint because it's November 18th. I mean, you weren't going to get it anyways. But that's my little sister's birthday. She was 3 when this episode came out. She turned 3 on this day. I don't remember what we did for her birthday that day because I was in 3rd grade. So it's like, you know.
Yeah, I had been 5. I had just turned 5 like a month before this.
So, you know, you were 5 when this episode came out. So you might have watched this episode live and don't even know it. So
I most likely did. Again, I am pretty sure I watched every episode of Avatar live, at least for like the first 2 seasons.
So, but yeah, this was written by Michael Dante Domito. DiMartino. Obviously, he's one of the co-creators. I think that makes sense he wrote this, because, you know, the whole season has been about them getting to the North Pole. It makes sense that one of the co-creators would write an episode where they actually get to the North Pole. Again, Yellow Jackets, we're looking at you.
Yeah, I'm going to make a Yellow Jackets joke of, like, Yellow Jackets cannot relate. The head writers being like, what's that, right, in the porn episode? No, we don't do that, no.
Although, you know, one of the best episodes of Yellow Jackets, I'm pretty sure wasn't written by the creators, though, so I don't know what that's...
Yeah, that was a guest writer, yeah, so, you know, fair point.
But yeah, I don't really need to go through what he did. He also, he was a director for Kin and like assistant director for Kin of the Hill. That's pretty cool, I guess. So, but you know, we've talked about him before. Then, we had a guest director kind of for this episode. It's Giancarlo Volpe. You know, kind of interesting. They had the creator of the show, like one of the creators, like worked with the guest director. You think he would have worked with like one of the ones that typically work on Avatar episodes. But no, that wasn't the case. But yeah, he did the Avatar Returns. He was an assistant director. He wrote the Momo plot in the Tales of Ba Sing Se episode. And he's been guest directors for things. He was in Meet the Director. I don't think that's Avatar, but that's something. He was in The Awakening, Secrets from the Vault. Would Zuko really kill Aang? What the hell was? I guess that's something. So, and then there's more Secrets from the Vault, Young Love and Familiar Faces. I wonder what that's about. And then, you know, he did JLA Adventures Trapped in Time. He did the Green Lantern. I think that's I think that's Spider-Man related, but that might not be. I might be wrong on that. Huh?
Green Lantern is a DC hero.
That's what I thought. But yeah, he was a producer for that. He was an assistant director and a storyboard artist for Kin of the Hill. He was a director and storyboard artist and writer for Star versus the Forces of Evil. And then he, again, to continue the... I don't know why this seems to pop up a lot in all our Avatar stuff. He was a director and storyboard artist for Star Wars, The Clone Wars. I'm pretty sure you could just take probably every Avatar whatever's and just plop it in The Clone Wars. It seemed like they all just transferred over to that. So
it is weird how much overlap there is between Avatar and The Clone Wars.
And I haven't even seen that, so...
Yeah, Yeah, again, that isn't even out yet at this time. It came out in like 2008.
Yeah.
And it was on Nickelodeon. It was like Cartoon Network. So I'm like, it's so strange. And then Disney bought them. So it's like Cartoon Network and Disney, and then Nickelodeon is like, it's very strange.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. He did some other stuff, but that's not really important. As something falls, because I have the fan going. I probably heard that, but there's a bunch of stuff falling. So, but yeah, let's just get to the episode. Now, obviously, there's a few plots going on in this episode, but one of them is pretty disconnected to the main plot. So, it doesn't even like really happen at like the beginning or the end. One of it's actually in the end, but I figured, it would just make sense to talk about it all at once, so that way we're not just bouncing back and forth. So AJ, you get to take the floor for a bit.
Yep, I just set my timer so I don't ramble on for an hour. Yep, so we got pretty much 3 main plots for this episode. We got Zuko, we got Sokka, and then we got Katara and Aang stuff. Mainly Katara. But yeah, I figure start off with Zuko since that is pretty much disconnected from everything else. Basically, Zhao is, with his CCC club, his child chasing club. They meet up every Sunday, and he's basically like, "All right, guys, the North Pole has so many children. We gotta get there. We gotta fight some children."
He's gonna be very disappointed when he gets there.
Yeah, and then this old guy is like, "We gotta go there now. I'm itching to fight some fucking kids, man." And then Zhao's like, "Patience, my friend. Patience." And I do like this. That they kind of give some reason why they're waiting till now to do it. They basically say, the Northern Water Tribe has survived, any attempts to take it over in the last 100 years. And it's not even just, the Waterbenders, and their, having home field advantage. The Northern Tundra is just like really hard to, live in. And yeah, sure enough, I mean, like, it's hard as shit to invade from there, you got ice everywhere, the water, you got to worry when the moon comes out, the waterbenders get stronger.
Yeah.
And again, you are basically, you're in the middle of an ocean fighting waterbenders. It's like they have a pretty strong home field advantage.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, do you think Zhao was also patient because he's been getting his fix in these last couple of months with torturing Zuko and Aang and everything like that? You think that's why he was?
He's built up, again, he just got a hit of fighting some children. So, this guy hasn't fought any children in at least a week. So, he's having withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah. But no, I like all this. I kind of forgot because I always remember this meeting happens. But it's also kind of, it's very quick. So you don't really get what they're talking about. But this is kind of the first time we really studied it and experienced it. But I like this though. I kind of like, you get the sense that the Firebenders are going to come in and do like a big invasion. I also like, because I forgot this is kind of the whole reason, like this plot really kicks off in the second where you mentioned, because Zhao also gets like an idea, and he mentions like they need like the armed forces, so they just need like the numbers game pretty much to go in there and like take out the Water Tribe and everything like that. So it makes them a lot. I mean, Zhao would have just done that anyways. What you'll get to in a second, even without the motivated reason. But
but yeah, this was cool. Again, I like that they're setting up. And of course, with stuff like this, you always wonder, like, why have they waited this long to send a big fleet like this to the Northern Water Tribe? And I'm like, yeah, I think they were always going to do this eventually to, like, invade the North Pole. But, their main priority seems to be the Earth Kingdom.
Yeah.
And, like, because, as we're going to talk about, the Northern Water Tribe doesn't do fuck all. Like, they seem pretty chill just letting the Fire Nation fucking rule the world. They're like, Sozin's Comet, Day of Black Sun. I don't give a shit about that, man. I'm just chilling here in Iceberg, I'm partying.
I'm on Solo. I'm Han Solo.
Yeah. I'm Solo. Everybody else dies.
I do like, though...
everyone's dying, and they're just fucking, like, they're doing the Peter Griffin, like,
Yeah. I think, too, they're also doing this because obviously Zhao knows that the Avatar's, like, going to the North Pole and everything like that. Well, so
that's what I was saying, is, like, this makes sense why they're doing this now. It's like, all right, we were always gonna invade the North Pole, but like now that the Avatar's there, learning waterbending, like we're gonna do it like now. We gotta speed it up.
Because it makes sense, he has to learn all 4 elements, and why not cut that off, before like he can actually learn one of them, type of thing.
Yeah, I like that. It always annoys me in shows when they're like the main villain just like lets the main heroes like go and like do everything that they need to do to like stop them. And I'm like, I like that the Fire Nation, like they're smart about it. They're not, again, like they're fucking up, but they at least they are trying to stop Aang from learning all 4 elements.
Well, in a weird way, we'll get to it the next episode. They kind of succeeded, whether or not, they end up failing the next, but they kind of succeeded because Aang doesn't really fully learn waterbending because of the Sage of the North for the most part and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I guess it's a double whammy. They want to capture the North Pole, but it wasn't their priority because they were dealing with the Earth Kingdom, and then they want to capture Aang. Now that Aang's at the North Pole learning waterbending, it's like, okay, yeah, now we gotta kind of let's go invade.
I just like seeing like meanings at the War Room too. We didn't really talk about this in Star Wars much because that was pretty cool, and also that was in the sense of annoyingness of Han Solo and Lando being cool, but like I just like seeing like meetings at the War Room and everything like that. Like I think that's really cool.
I love stuff like this. When you're a kid, you don't really care that much about like the meetings. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, I love learning about like how these like societies function, like what these military generals are thinking. Like what they prioritize. Like you learn so much about like the world.
Yeah. So this is cool.
So yeah, this is the scene. It's a very short thing, but it pretty much sets up the finale. So Zhao's like, all right, we gotta assemble, our fleet. We gotta get all the manpower we can get, and we're gonna go, fuck up the Water Tribe, who are literally just sitting there not doing shit. And then we see Zuko in his ship. They're just docked at a nearby docking place. We get 2 guys dancing to a get together. If Drake was here, he'd be like, a man dressing as a woman, 2 men dancing together. I can't believe it in this year, 2005. Unbelievable.
He would have that same reaction he had when he saw Josh dressed as a woman. Like, oh my god. He'd be using that to blackmail them so he can get the girl.
Yeah, I would love that. Fucking Drake and Josh and oh man, that's so funny. But yeah, I do like that we get to see G again, good old G. Fucking our last time seeing him, as we're gonna as a complaint we have. But he's fucking killing it on that. I don't even know what he's playing. And Iroh's got some fucking vocals. He should have been a singer.
Yeah. Do you think he has his vocals in season 3?
Yeah, but again, he's like, nah, I'm just gonna keep quiet.
Yeah.
I would have more if I sung too good. No, he sacrificed his vocals to gain those muscles.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But I do like this, because they've shown a few episodes now that like Iroh is actually pretty close with the crew.
Yeah.
They all like respect him, and they've been at sea together for almost 3 years. So I like that we're just seeing them like chilling out, dancing and playing instruments.
Kind of just like seeing this too, because the only time you really see like the crew is like obviously when they're dealing with Zuko stuff and everything like that. Just kind of cool that they were just kind of living a day-to-day life. Really, it's the last time we see them, but
And I'm saying I like that this is what we're seeing because of what happened there, where Zhao comes aboard, and then I do like this where Zuko's just in his room rooting, and then Iroh comes in, and I love this where Zuko's immediately like, "Uncle, for the last time, I'm not playing like the song you wore."
Yeah.
So I love that. That's like an ongoing thing that like Iroh tries to get Zuko to like play in their band,
which is funny. I can just picture it now. Zuko in the Yellow Jackets, if you remember, like when they all do that dance thing, like in one of the episodes, Zuko would be like, "For the last time, I'm not dancing to this song," type of thing. So,
or like, well, it reminds me of like the, I wish Walt and Jesse went go karting.
yeah, that'd be cool.
I wish Zuko fucking got on that horn and fucking played with his crew a little bit.
Yeah. It's like it's that scene in Monsters University where like the whole episode or the whole movie until like a certain point, like Sully just doesn't like the team that like Mike's picks. But like they do that thing where like they're like dancing at like the party. One of the nerds like does like the lasso up to pull Sully in, and he finally like just breaks down and starts like dancing and everything like that type of thing.
Final Fantasy VII, Cloud. He's very stoic like soldier guy. His friend gets kidnapped by this like mob boss, and the plot is he's got to make a dress and cross dress to get inside the mansion. But in order to get the dress, he's got to enter a dance off with this guy, and he's like miserable about it. He's like, "Fuck," like I gotta fucking win this dance off. It's pretty funny.
I mean, don't forget that the Ember Island players, that's basically Zuko's plot hole. Like, that's basically that thing they make fun of Zuko for in Ember Island players.
Yeah. But yeah, again, I like this because again, we don't get much on the crew, so I like that we're seeing them just like acting like people, before we get. Where Zhao busts into the room and he's like, "I'm taking your crew," and Zuko's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Yep, I'm preparing for a big invasion. We're gonna capture the Avatar at the North Pole, and like I can't risk you getting in my way again." And I love this because like Zuko has like a fucking like skeleton crew. Like you're gonna have a fleet. There's like no way Zuko could get in your way with his crew. He's basically doing this just to fuck him over.
Yeah, I like this too, just because the way Zhao words it, he says like I brought them on for like a special proposition, so he kind of tries to make it like sound like the crew like accepted. Obviously Zhao like forced them to go with them probably, but
yeah, again, it's like they're military, they have to obey them.
But like the way Zhao, because like later on, Zuko's kind of sulking. He kind of worded it in a way was like Zuko would like be mad at the crew and everything like that too, which I like. So
yeah, and I love this where Iroh's like, it's true, he's taking everyone, even the cook, like and then Iroh. I love this where Zhao kind of just like he glances over at the wall real quick. And he walks over to it and he sees broadswords. And then he like just fucking like he has that oh shit face. And he like grabs it. I like this. We get a close up on Zuko and his eyes go fucking wide.
Yeah, I never caught this. I never caught this before, yeah.
Where Zuko is like, oh shit, like he realizes Zhao might be catching on. And yeah, basically Zhao, seeing these swords, realized like, oh shit, Zuko's the blue spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Who, and I love this because again, he just said like, I can't risk you getting in my way again, and like again, now he just realized like, oh, you got in my way more than I even realized.
Yeah, I like that. And then when Zhao saw, when Zuko saw that Zhao saw these, he's probably like, oh shit, now he just caught on type of thing. Like now he's really gonna take my crew.
And I also like it because before this, Zuko was like screaming at Zhao, and like Iroh had to like hold him back from attacking him. But then as soon as Zhao picked up the sword, he's like, I didn't realize you were good with broadswords, Prince Zuko. Then Zuko got really like soft spoken. He was just like, I'm not. They're antiques. They're decorative.
Yeah.
Like he immediately stopped getting aggressive. He's just like, please don't find out. Please don't find out.
Yeah, and he already hates Zuko enough as it is. So if
this is basically like the moment where Zhao was pretty content to just like take his crew and like have Zuko basically be all alone. But this was the moment where he's like, okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, again, it's been too long since he boxed a child. He tried to attack Aang, and Aang wasn't having it. So now he's like, all right, I got to take out my anger on this 16-year-old.
Especially now that the 16-year-old just like fucked me over from going after another kid.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how dare you get it between me and a 12-year-old, Zuko? Fucking, you got.
112-year-old actually, so it's okay.
Yeah, again, that would be Zhao's excuse when he's in court. He's like, what? He's 112. He's not actually 12. He's 112.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think Zuko, even though he tried to deny it, I think he pretty much realized that Zhao knew. When Zhao starts talking about the blue spirit, he says to Iroh, like, have you heard about the blue spirit, General Iroh? And he's like, yeah, I've heard of him, but, like, I don't think he's real. I think he's a myth. That's interesting. Because we saw his wanted poster in the Deserter. I always kind of wondered, because, he only showed up in that one episode. I always kind of wondered, like, man, he is infamous, huh? Like, Iroh has heard of him, but doesn't think he's real.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I was always confused by that.
Do you think Iroh was lying there? Like, do you think he figured it was Zuko? Well, because obviously in Boston say he's able to like piece together that it's Zuko, but I wonder if that's just because the Blue Spirit showed up there, Zuko was there, and like he was kind of causing a mess like right after Zuko mentioned he wanted to go after like the bison and everything like that. So that's probably when Iroh put.
Yeah. So yeah, it is curious like if Iroh knows or not. I kind of wish we got to see a little bit more of the Blue Spirit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, that's always been a cool idea of like, this like infamous criminal identity Zuko has. Well, again, he's only shown up the one time. So I was always confused by that line of Iroh being like, I don't know if he's real or not. And Zhao was like, oh yeah, no, he's real. He's scum. He's he's an enemy of the Fire Nation. And like, if you know anything, when he's like, but don't worry, I feel justice will catch up with him soon enough.
So that was kind of the hint that like Zhao had something planned for Zuko after that.
Yeah. And then he leaves. He's about to leave the room, but he says, to Iroh, like, my offer still stands if you want to, join, the crew and like end me on this special assignment. So I do like this because this is obviously setting up that Iroh, ends up taking up on his offer, but like not in the way he intended.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's presumably like a couple days later. The crew is packed up. They're leaving. Iroh wishes them farewell and good luck. I like that. Where Iroh understands like they're just following orders, and he wishes them good luck. Like, he's like thankful that they've been with them for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, I like that a lot. The fact that he went out and like say goodbye to them and everything like that.
I like where he like tries to get Zuko to come say goodbye to them. But again, like you said, Zuko isn't taking it well. He's like, yeah, good riddance to those traitors.
Yeah. So,
again, I really wish we got more of the crew. Because again, we got them in the storm, and like we've seen them in the background here and there. I just if we didn't get the storm, I wouldn't really care that much. But because we got that episode where we got to like get to see what it's like from their POV, I wish we got more of that.
Yeah, especially too, like it would have been interesting to see like Lieutenant G's reaction to obviously getting like pulled away from Zuko and everything like that, because
that's kind of what I wanted, is because like we don't really get their reaction, because Zhao obviously tells them they're gonna go to his crew off screen, and then we don't see him ever again.
Yeah, so that's a little disappointing.
But yeah, it would have been, because obviously they didn't like Zuko, but after the storm they kind of built that like respect for him. So it would have been interesting, because we'll probably go into it more in detail. Like in our video we're gonna make, where we're gonna like be like, we wish we had more time in the North Pole. It would have been nice if like when Zuko ends up like stowing away on Zhao's ship, would have been cool if like how would G react to Zuko and Zhao being at odds? Would he fall in line to his new boss, or would he kind of try to help Zuko out? Or as I told Owen off camera, when Zuko at the end of the show becomes Fire Lord, I always thought that was kind of weird how the Fire Nation is all just like cool with that, because from everyone in the Fire Nation would think Zuko is a traitor. So you figure a lot of them wouldn't be okay with him becoming their new leader. So it would be interesting if some people in the Fire Nation like G are like, no, Zuko is I support him, or something like that.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Yeah. So.
Just have more people, going behind Zuko, like having his back.
Yeah, I really wish we got some more stuff with like the crew and everything like that. Because again, we got that episode of the storm, like you said, especially Lieutenant G's thoughts. That would have been nice.
Yeah, like I think we mentioned, like we thought G never showed up again after that episode, but then he did like the episode after that and this episode. He doesn't say anything, but like we see him there, like he's still there. The writers remembered him.
Yeah, they animated him and everything like that too. So they obviously did.
Yeah, the writers didn't forget him. So it's like it would have been cool if they did something with him.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah. But yeah, Iroh again. I like this where he obviously understands Zuko's upset. So he's like, hey, I'm gonna go for a walk. Why don't you come with me? But when he realizes Zuko's not gonna do it, he's just like, or just sit in your room alone in the dark. That works too. Whatever makes you happy.
Do kind of like that he doesn't like press him to go on the walk, like give him advice, like, hey, like, you should have just like sit here and sulk. I kind of like that he's letting Zuko like deal with this like his own way and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's what Iroh does. Is like he tries to be there for Zuko as much as he can, but like he's not gonna force Zuko to do anything. He wants Zuko to kind of make his own decisions.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Iroh goes on this walk. But meanwhile, there's as I mentioned, it's presumably a couple days from when Zhao tells Zuko that he's taking his crew and the crew actually leaving. Because we see Zhao having a meeting with none other than June the Bounty Hunter. She's back. No, it's the pirates. From the Waterbending Scroll, he basically hires them for a special mission. And, he's like, basically says, I believe you're all familiar with Prince Zuko. How the fuck he knows that, I don't know.
I don't know.
Zhao, he must have got a Netflix subscription. He's been binge watching the show.
Yeah, before it was on Netflix and everything like that, too. So,
He was watching it on Nick.com.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
That makes sense for Zhao to be, going on Nick.com,
Yeah, for sure.
So, why not?
Say that again.
Stalking kids.
Yeah, there's a lot of kid stuff there. So.
So again, this is a little weird that Zhao knows about the pirates. I guess you could say like he interviewed the crew, and like the crew told him about the pirates. I guess.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense. I guess.
But pirates were like what, middle of the season, and they're like. And they were probably like south to, middle of the Earth Kingdom. These guys, Zhao is presumably like pretty far up north. So it is a little weird that like distance wise, he was able to find these guys.
Yeah, maybe they came to him or like, I don't know what happened there, but it really was weird.
It's a little weird.
Because there's no air balloon yet. Fire balloon really to say, to explain that, because that just got set up last episode. So
yeah, that is odd. But yeah, he basically hires the pirates to take out Zuko, give him a good old whacking. So yeah, Iroh took off, and then that was the pirates.
This did benefit Zhao though, because as you talk about, because they had a history with Zuko.
This was smart of Zhao to like, because again, it seems like he wanted Iroh to join him. So it's like, okay, yeah, wait for Iroh to leave the ship and then kill Zuko. And yeah, the pirates are a good throwaway guy of like, oh no, it was the pirates who did it. I didn't do it.
Yeah, definitely.
It makes sense. And like I can buy that maybe the crew, like Zhao interviewed the crew about like past enemies or something. Again, it's just weird that he was able to find these guys
very quickly. Yeah.
So quickly, yeah. So it's just like it's a deep cut. I'm glad the writers like brought him back. It is just like a little weird.
Yeah, very weird.
But yeah, and again, it's smart of Zhao. It's just I'm surprised he was able to find them so quickly. But yeah, the pirates like board the ship. and like put a bunch of like explosives in it. And but Zuko like hears something on the ship, so he thinks it's his uncle, but he's like, "Oh, that's weird. Uncle just left. Like, I'm gonna go investigate." And he's like looking around, and he goes to the the bridge, the command deck, and he's like looking around, and then I do love this where like the reptile bird is just perched there, like I love how they draw it all like menacing.
Yeah, me too.
And Zuko just like again has an oh shit face, like he realizes like oh fuck, that's like the that's the pirate dude's bird.
Yeah, for sure.
So he realizes like, oh okay, like something's up. And the bird flies away. The pirates ignite their explosives, and the ship. And you know what? This is really cool. This is a real blink and you miss it moment. But when the explosion happens, and like you see the flames going throughout the ship, and it's like going into the command deck. You see for a split second Zuko, like because he heard it coming, and like again he saw the bird, so he realized something was up. Right before the flames enter the room, he creates a fire dome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a real like blink and you miss it moment. But I love that. Where that explains how he was able to like survive.
Yeah, I like that.
Because when I was a kid, I was always like, how the fuck did he survive that? But yeah, no, that makes sense. He like made a fire shield to like take the brunt of the explosion.
Yeah, you have to send me like because I remember we've talked about this before, anyways. But I think I always blink and miss it pretty much. Like I guess I just can't blink when I watch this scene. So
yeah, it's a very quick thing, but like right before the flames enter the room, you see like Zuko like kind of move his arms, and then like some fire is like around him.
And again, I like that you probably wouldn't get this like first viewing, but then if you probably watch this episode a few times, you'd probably pick up on it. I'm just that moron that hasn't, so
Which again, I always like that because like it bugs me when writers like something Red versus Blue. If you remember, like when Sarge is like walking towards the meta, and he has like the thing attached to the warthog.
Yeah.
You see it behind his back for like this, like in that moment before the meta grabs him, but he doesn't have it in his hand, like in the scene prior when he's like walking towards him.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, that's kind of annoying. That he's obviously supposed to have it in his hand, but they didn't bother to do it.
Yeah.
Or Glass Onion. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but that movie's like a murder mystery. And a big thing with murder mystery is, you're supposed to drop hints, like, of like who's the killer. But then that movie, when they're like dropping a bunch of plot details, fucking lies to you. Like it shows a bunch of scenes, and it just like flat out fucking lies. It's like, oh, this person was in the bushes in this scene. It's like, no, they weren't. You're fucking lying to me. I saw that they were not in the background during that scene. You fucking rewrote time and fucking plopped it there. You're fucking lying to me.
Mm.
Oh, there's a big one where, in that scene, like a guy drinks a glass and it's poisoned and he dies. And, they replay that scene. It's like, oh, this one guy swapped the drinks. But then if you go back to that first scene, no, he didn't. You could see him in the background and he's not swapping the drinks.
That's funny.
So they literally fucking lie to you.
Yeah.
So again, I like that this scene actually like showed him like making the fire dome.
Yeah, I do like that. And we've seen stuff like that happen. Like I remember a big one is like I don't remember what it's called, but it's supposed to be like a telling story of like Little Red Riding Hood, but they like retold it as if like it was a murder mystery. And I think there's like this bunny character, like he's in every backstory, and yeah,
because like all the all like it's like all of them like giving an interview, and like they're all different except the one detail is like the bunny in the background. Yeah, and like the reveal is the bunny's the one who did it.
Yeah, well, not in the background, but he has like a one-off like line like every movie and all that, like every scene, like every backstory or something.
It's like the connecting thread. Yeah.
So I forget what it's called though, but I remember it's like supposed to be like that. So
yeah. So again, I like that. The attention to detail. again, because I just hate when the writers like say something happened and it very clearly didn't.
Yeah. Well, actually, a recent movie that came out, Weapons. You've probably seen the trailers for that. It's what it's like the kids that like disappeared overnight. Like what happened to them? It's not really it's not like flashbacks, but you get like it shows like each character like what they were doing, and it shows like the same character like shows up every like story and all that type of stuff. So you get like connection that yeah. Well, it doesn't show up in one of them though, but maybe that's like a quick thing you don't catch type of thing. So, but actually, one cool one is like in one of the backstories, like there was a drug dealer asking for money, but you don't have it, like you don't have like his story yet, so it's just like a random person like in her story, but then he has like his own story. Like, oh wow, he actually became like a character. That's cool. Like, so
or Attack on Titan is a good example where there's two characters who like they're kind of like they're part of the main cast, but like later on in the show it's revealed that they're like they're basically like double agents. And then like if you notice like what they're doing in the background in a couple scenes, you get some kind of hints. And again, it's very subtle. If you just like watching those scenes for the first time, you're not paying attention to them. You're paying attention to like what's going on like between the main characters. But then if you like notice a couple things of like what they're doing, it's like, oh, they're acting like suspicious there. That's interesting. You have to catch it on the rewatch.
Yeah, that's cool stuff.
So again, I like stuff like that. Again, I like that the attention to detail. Because again, it's a very quick thing. But again, it explains, and they don't like ever address it, but like it explains why Zuko's able to survive.
Yeah.
Because this explosion fucking decimates his ship. And it's interesting because again, you kind of feel bad for Zuko, because what he says in Siege of the North, of like I've always had to struggle and fight, and that's made me strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like my sister was born lucky. My dad says I was lucky to be born. Of like Zuko just keeps losing everything. He's lost his crew and now he loses his ship. It's like he's got fucking like nothing at this point.
Yeah, it's really sad.
But yeah, Iroh sees the explosion in the background and he rushes over to the dock, and he's like, like the ship is just, like torn to pieces, and he's obviously super sad. He's like, oh god, Zuko, no. He doesn't know Zuko survived.
Yeah, he doesn't have a Netflix subscription, so
yeah, he didn't go to Nick.com.
No, he didn't.
I already showed him to Nick.com. And the next scene is Iroh and Zhao having a meeting. And I like this, that they actually kind of play it off a little bit of like, oh shit, did Zuko die? But yeah, Zuko, Iroh is basically, Zhao was like, oh man, I'm so sorry about your nephew. That's so sad. I'm crying on the inside. And then Iroh's like, yeah, the Fire Lord's not going to be happy when he finds out who's responsible for assassinating his son.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love that Iroh says this, because like realistically, he knows Ozai wouldn't give a fuck, but I think he says it just to like fuck with Zhao a little bit.
Probably, yeah.
Because like Zhao like frowns really quickly, and he's like, "Oh, you know who's responsible?" Like he's got him like sweating a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Iroh's, yeah, pirates. We had to run into with them a little while ago. And then Zhao's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Because again, it'd be funny, like if Ozai actually heard that Zuko died, he'd probably be like, "Yeah, let's go, yeah."
Well, if it's this, Ozai, if it's the McDonald's manager, it might be a different story.
Maybe, yeah. Again, he'd be like, "Oh, by the way, sir, your son is dead. Also, I would like a milkshake and a large fry, if you don't mind."
I should be talking like that though, because then you'll go to McDonald's again. So.
No. I already got milk. I already delayed the video so I can go to the store and grab milk.
And then we delayed another hour to talk. So.
Yeah. So Iroh's basically like, all right, I'm going to join you on your little adventure to the North Pole, and they're like, all right, kick ass. So and then we get one more scene where like the fleet is assembled. They're all making their way to the North Pole. I do love this because this scene happens like after Aang and Katara have their little happy moment at the end of the episode, and then it's just like, oh shit, they don't know a fucking army is coming their way.
Yeah, I feel like it did it better, like with the in season 2, obviously like everyone is like getting ready to like win the war there. And then like obviously the Kyoshi Warriors show up, but it's not really the Kyoshi Warriors, it's obviously Azula and like her crew and everything like that.
Yeah. I guess it's a good example of like a comparison is Ben 10 Alien Force. That starts off with a 2-parter, Ben 10 Returns, and then Ben, Gwen, and Kevin like just barely save the day, and they kind of have like a little like like all right, we're a team now, and then you cut to like the new villains of the show, and they're like Ben 10 is back, but he has no idea what he's up against, and then you just cut and see just like an entire throne room filled with like an army,
Yeah.
So it's always cool because again, like Aang has fought like groups of firebenders here and there. He's liberated like a small towns, but this is like oh shit, he's gonna have to fight a whole army, and that's pretty much in part 1 of next episode. That's kind of the thing he comes to, where he spends a whole day just going ship to ship to ship, but like it just doesn't end, and he basically at the end of it is just like, I might be the Avatar, but like I'm just one kid. I can't beat all of them, it's just too much.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so this episode ends off in a good way of like it's very intimidating. Of like he has a whole fleet. But you see Iroh meeting up with a random soldier in the hallway. And I would love it if Iroh got the wrong guy. He's like, "All right, nephew, we're almost there." And he's like, "Huh? What's nothing. I just said lovely weather we're having."
Remember that happened in Inception? I think it was like the guy that did all the impersonations or something. Like I think one of the guys thought it was like him, but it was like it wasn't like the real guy, but it was like the guy in like the dream or whatever.
Oh yeah, like the Asian dude, and then Tom Hardy. He was pretending to be a girl, and then like he looked in the mirror and realized it was him. He's like, "All right, I get it." Fine.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I do love this scene where again, like Zuko's pretending to be a regular grunt. It was just cool. Not the last time he does this. He does it in Boiling Rock too.
Yeah.
Where he's pretending a little grunt. And this makes sense, because obviously the firebender uniform covers like their entire face. So this is actually a really good way to stay in disguise. And Iroh basically says like, stay hidden until we get to the North Pole. The Avatar is going to be yours. And Zuko takes off his mask. And I love this where Zuko's like, "Hey, you don't have to do this, Uncle. Like, it's okay." Like he knows Iroh's putting himself in danger by like pretending to be Iroh's like Zhao's advisor.
Yeah.
Because if Zuko takes the Avatar, Zhao's gonna know Iroh betrayed him essentially and put him in a tough spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Iroh's like, so I love that Zuko was gonna do this solo. But Iroh's like, no, like no nephew of mine is gonna go behind, go stow away on an enemy ship without backup. I love this where Zuko says, "Thank you, Uncle." Because obviously, earlier in this, throughout this episode, Zuko's been in a pretty bad mood in like every episode. He's like, "Uncle, fuck off. I want to sulk in my room. Leave me alone." But I love that here. Zuko's legitimately like, "Thank you, Uncle."
Yeah.
Like,
I like this too. Very Star Wars inspired too, because if you remember New Hope, this is what like Luke, Han Solo, and Obi-Wan do. Is like they pretend to be stormtroopers. So obviously this is like Zuko pretending to be essentially like a stormtrooper for the most part and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. And I love it because in Siege of the North, they have that moment where Iroh's like, I'm sorry for nagging you, like but ever since I lost my son, I think of you as my own. So, I think that makes sense why Iroh goes to such lengths. He's like, I might be putting myself in danger, but like you're like a son to me. Like I'm not abandoned.
Yeah. And he never says this to Zuko, but I think, that's why it hurt when Zuko betrayed him, like in Crossroads of Destiny and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's tragic. Yeah, and but I will say, like I said, there's a fairly decent time skip between this episode and next episode. Like presumably like a month goes by, give or take, just like based on like what's implied. So like Zuko has to be undercover on this shit for like bare minimum a few weeks. I'm like, that is like, so he has the face scar. Like everyone would know who he is. So it's kind of amazing that Zuko was able to stay hidden this whole time.
Yeah, that's why I really wish we got some stuff like. Again, we'll talk about this.
Go like undercover on the ship. Yeah.
Like like Squid Game did this, where like someone had to stay undercover, like in the Squid Game's uniform. So like he had to stay undercover the whole time and everything like that. So that would have been like we got to see kind of how that played out and everything like that. So it would have been cool to see this like an Avatar and everything like that. And it would have been cool like maybe if someone we'll probably do like when we make the video, we'll have like the actual ideas, but it would have been cool like if we had seen like somebody had like found out about it, like maybe Lieutenant G could be the guy type of thing. Or like, maybe not Lieutenant G, somebody else. And they find out that Zuko's on his ship. Honestly, I know they do it in Boiling Rock, but it would be really cool, like, if we had, because, Lieutenant G, we actually spent time with it and everything like that. Like, they find out Zhao finds out there's like a stowaway, or there should be, like, the Tale of Zuko's plot in the North Pole. And Lieutenant G, it can look like he's going to sell out Zuko, but he points to somebody else. And, obviously, they do that moment where you think that he pointed to Zuko, but instead he pointed to, like, some random guy and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. So, again, because it's like, we bring it up because, again, they set it up of like, oh, shit, Zuko's undercover. That's crazy. But, again, they don't really do much with it. Basically, Zuko just, like, he's able to stay undercover successfully until he gets to the North Pole. Then he, leaves the ship. I'm like, oh, it would have been cool if they actually, like, did a little bit more with that idea. Which, again, like you said, they do eventually with the Boiling Rock. But it would have been nice if we got it here.
Yeah. Especially, too, because, there was also there was another missed storyline potential with, because even though the pirates were paid by Zhao, Zuko should have gotten revenge on the pirates, because the pirates, Yeah,
pirates never show up again. And, it would have been cool if Zuko, like, went after them. Well, because also, again, like, Zuko, they never actually confirmed it's Zhao who did it. Like, again, like, I guess it's not that hard to figure it out. But, like, it would have been cool if, we got a scene where, like, Zuko goes after the pirates for revenge. And they're like, hey, listen, we got hired by that Zhao guy.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because, again, it's, like, kind of just implied that Zuko knew the pirates got hired by Zhao, I guess.
And, you could have a moment where, like, Zuko can, like, decide to take their life or not type of thing, and maybe he chooses not to, but like he basically threatens, like, if you tell anyone I came after you, like, I won't hold back type of thing or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, like, I really like what's here. They just they don't do much with it, which again I think is the issue of, like, we waited way too long to get to the North Pole. We're at episode 18 out of 20, and the next 2 episodes are like the big finale. So I definitely feel like sacrifice a couple episodes earlier in the season to get more of this stuff, because this is, like, really interesting. I really like it. I just want it, like, fleshed out more.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Zuko plot. It's really good. I like that they brought the pirates back. I like that we're seeing more of, like, Zhao and Zuko's rivalry get to a head. And I love seeing this, like, fleet assemble to attack the North Pole and Aang.
Yeah, I like this. I do like this a lot. Again, it's just a shame we don't, not much happens, like, from it, really, but I do like it a lot type of thing. But yeah, you talked about, then we get, like, a bunch of Rush stuff, which isn't bad, but again, like, because we only really have one episode, they have to kind of rush some of this stuff, but we'll talk about it. So yeah, we have, the main plot of the episode, because you kind of have to talk about the main plot first, because it ends up kind of wrapping up Sokka's plot. So yeah, the group finally arrives to the North Pole. This is the actual beginning of the episode, where they've been flying for 2 straight days at this point.
Which is presumably the last time they stopped was the Northern Air Temple. So that's cool. This is only like 2 or 3 days after that episode.
Yep. And Sokka's complaining that Appa's not moving very fast, and Aang's actually the one that throws shit at him. It's not like Guitar or anything like that, where we tell Sokka, like, hey, why don't we get on your back and you fly us to the North Pole? Which I actually kind of like that, and obviously it's because they're all overtired and everything like that. You could definitely tell Appa's tired, because he's, like, not even really on the ground anymore. He's, like, near the water for the most part. And you know, at this point they're just driving by, like, you know, they're getting to the North Pole, but they don't even know like where to even go. And Sako even mentioned like we're not even gonna we haven't seen anything for like miles, but then all of a sudden,
be funny if they went too far. They like went past it.
that'd be funny, yeah. So a big ice sculpture like pops up out of the water, and obviously, this is to kind of give us the indication that they've obviously made it to the North Pole. And what ends up happening is, you know, they kind of try to dodge it a little bit, but eventually, Appa gets frozen. Well, not frozen, but like they make a wall like around his legs to like trap him and everything like that. And a bunch of waterbenders show up, and you know, this makes sense what, you know, because they say what Zhao said, because the northern water tribes also kind of like hidden. It's kind of like is it Atlantis, the place underwater that's like hidden, like a hidden town or whatever. I think that's the vibe. That's what this like town's supposed to be. Maybe I'm, unless my vibes are wand, but you know, if you watch my guessing games for Pokemon and Star Wars, you know I have a tendency to get things way out of proportion. So don't take that with a grain of salt. But we get to see some waterbenders. This was kind of cool because obviously we haven't really like seen powerful waterbenders yet. The only really waterbenders we've really seen has been like Katara and like Aang, and that's really been kind of it. So it's kind of cool we get to see them. Kind of sucks the first time we like see it. It's like some random background characters that like are definitely drawn like background characters, which kind of sucks. But whatever. It's still cool. And
this is our first time seeing other waterbenders besides Katara, though, which is cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Kind of crazy again. It took 18 episodes and book water to get more waterbenders.
I don't know. I guess yeah. We've seen more earthbending and firebending.
And airbending.
Yeah. So.
So remember, we saw like Yatso and all the other airbender kids. We have seen more airbenders, firebenders, and earthbenders than waterbenders.
And the airbenders are like dead. So like
yeah.
So. But yeah, so they, obviously they see that it's the Avatar, so they kind of lead them towards their town and everything like that. You know, for as much flack as we're gonna give this, they definitely make this feel like a big moment. You know, it took them a long time to get to the North Pole. They actually like let this feel like a big moment. You know, they let us like really see the North Pole. They go to like this ice sculpture that's like built up like a door, and they like have to waterbend and open up like a door. You know, they lead Appa in there. We get to kind of see like a little bit of the town. You know, I'll say this. I know you're going to talk about it later. The only person you get the vibe that's going to be any sort of a character, because you see like just a bunch of random background people that are just random background cartoons, and then you see like this other person that's like a princess walk by. I'm like, wow, you can definitely tell she's only going to be the only one that really matters here, because they actually put some effort into her animation over like everybody else's. But whatever.
Yeah, everyone else is generic, and then she has like an actually thought out design. It's like, oh, okay. Look, it's like the Yu-Gi-Oh joke of like, I don't know if you've like ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh, but he's got like fucking spiky purple and yellow hair.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you see him in a crowd with like a bunch of just like generic people, it's like, gee, I wonder who the main character is.
But then obviously Sokka's plotline kicks in there. But then, you know, the next scene, I do like this, you know, when they see the avatars there. I like that they've set up like a little feast, like for everybody and everything like that. And we meet the chief. You have to tell me the chief's name because I don't remember. Huh?
I don't fucking know.
I don't know. Let me get the wiki up.
So I thought you had the wiki pulled up. I don't know. Off camera, I said like, oh yeah, he doesn't have a name, and you're like, no, he does.
He does have a name.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll just say, even though I really wish we got more time here, the North Pole looks great. You know, like you said, I love the like little ice skate they lower with like all the water flooding out when they enter. And like I love that it's like a Venice inspired area with like the streets of water.
Yeah, I like that.
It's like, you know, because like the North Pole was a shithole, but like here it's just like beautiful and like elaborate, like ice sculpture buildings, and like it looks so cool.
Yeah, it's Chief Anook. Anook. Yeah, it's Anook. I might be pronouncing that one, but that's how you're gonna remember. That's the only way you'll be able to pronounce that unless you go read it yourself. But it's Chief Anook. So, but I'm just gonna call him the Chief because
Chief Young.
I love that. But I don't know, Chief Yagami gets cool shit to do. This guy really doesn't. So, but yeah, the Chief welcomes them. He kind of thanks them for like bringing them the Avatar. I do kind of like this where they kind of, mention they're like the Southern Water Tribe, like brotherhood and all that type of stuff. Which I like. And well, it's kind of weird because
a long time since anyone from their sister tribe has been there.
Yeah, that's cool. Before we even get to this scene, though, like, Aang even mentions that they still have to like look for the the Waterbending master and everything like that. Like, they actually have to find him a master. I get because that makes sense. They wouldn't know who to actually like look for and everything like that type of thing. So, but and then he introduces like his daughter, Princess Yue, which you'll talk about more about that. But we find out that she's the princess. Obviously, because, when we saw her earlier, she was the only one that had, like, again, any effort put into an animation. So,
she's the one with, like, the elaborate dress and hair, and, like, she's got white hair. I'm like, she stands out.
Yeah. And then, well,
he mentions when he introduces her that, like, well, how convenient that it's her 16th birthday, so now she's of marrying age. Zhao's in the corner, like,
yeah.
If I sooner.
That's true. Do you think that's Zhao's justification? Because back then it was like, different ages and everything. Like 16's like okay, that's fine.
Zhao is like, if you're 5, you're good to go.
So then again, I was laughing over you.
And he said, if it's like a mother just gave birth, and he's like, fireball.
I'm pretty sure Family Guy did a joke. Maybe not like that, but I'm pretty sure Family Guy did something like that type of thing. So, but
I think that's bad. Remember the time I was a Fire Nation admiral and I boxed children?
It's not good.
That'd be a good cutaway.
Yeah. But then sometime they go to the feast. And then the Chief introduces Aang to the Waterbending Master, Master Paku. I blanked on his name, who apparently knew all this stuff, by the way, before they even got to the North Pole. He's been he knew the whole story. He's been following them on their journey since the beginning, apparently. By the way, this game right here, I know it's backwards on the webcam, but that game apparently he's been following them the whole journey, the whole time. So,
well, he's in the intro. He gets special narrator powers. Which, that's cool, because if you remember, we saw Azula very briefly in Zuko's flashback. So, she's the firebender in the intro. And then, here we see Paku. He's the waterbender in the intro.
So, I guess he has been following them. He's special intro powers. So,
yeah.
So then, instantly,
what's happening?
Huh?
Does that mean Azula has, like, special fourth wall powers?
I don't know. I haven't played the rest of the game yet, so... But, we know Roku does, so...
Yeah.
Do you think Aang does, even though it's his story somehow, since he's in the intro?
No. Nah, he doesn't know. Roku's like, by the way, Aang, I would avoid lightning. Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even there yet. It's like Paradox warning Ben. Like, don't lean up against that wall. And then, like, a couple episodes later, Ben does anyway.
I was gonna say, is he the Obi-Wan though, who's just lying to Aang the whole time, like just a lying piece of shit?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, again, Roku is failing to mention the fact. By the way, Zuko is my great grandson, and also like I was friends with Sozin and all this other shit.
Yeah. By the way, we can add somebody else to the list, by the way, of old line. Probably Rick and Morty, right? Because he lies to Morty constantly.
Yeah, fucking time, hell yeah.
And he's wise. He qualifies. He is, and he's not complete. He's not wise like them, but he's wise in his own way. So
he's smart. Yeah, it's the difference between intelligence and wisdom.
Yeah.
But yeah, because last episode or the Deserta, we were joking about Zhong Zhong. At the White Lotus barbecue. Pian Dao, Iroh, and Boomy are just like flexing and drinking beer and flirting with girls. Zhong Zhong's in the fucking corner crying about firebending bad. We get introduced to Paku. Well, at first he seems pretty cool. Him and his students are doing this cool waterbending shit.
Yeah.
But we find out he's a fucking incel. He spent the last 60 years just like women are bad. I got rejected.
When you said that, I always knew that was like true, but I thought you were just over exaggerating just for the joke. But when I saw this episode, I'm like, oh my god, that's actually like true.
Literally, incel. He's like getting online. And he's like, women are the worst, and women did this, and women did that.
How do you think he's gonna feel in a few hundred years when he sees all this progressiveness that women get and everything like that and all that type of stuff? He's not gonna like that very much.
He's like Squilliam in Band Geeks, where he just like has a heart attack and he's got to get taken away on his
Oh my gosh! You know what I never noticed? When he had his heart attack, Squilliam did the Hitler salute when he had his heart attack. It's kind of weird.
Okay, that I never noticed that. I'll have to rewatch that now.
But yeah, so you see him and his students do some tricks, and then we have this scene with Thane, and again, he is just an old grouch, an old incel, like you said. Where
again, he literally got cucked 60 years ago, and he's never let it go.
Yeah. And Aang kind of mentions to him like he's looking forward to learning from him, and he says that him and his friend have come a long way to come learn from you. And then honestly, this plot probably would have been avoided if Aang had just mentioned Katara was a woman here. They probably would have just like been like, okay, we're leaving, type of thing. We're fucking off. So, but whatever. And Aang says like, Master Paku was immediately like, well, just because you're the Avatar, don't expect to get any special treatment. I'm gonna guess he's treating Aang badly because he knows Aang was a woman at one point. So he's like, oh, you were like a woman at one point. Gross.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he was like, that was like 300 years ago, and like that's 300 years too many.
So then he tells Aang like, don't expect just because you're the Avatar, you're not gonna get any special treatment. Do you think he gets worse treatment because he was a woman at one point? Do you think he gets worse treatment? Not special treatment?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Again, he would just like, he's fucking him over 100%. He's like, you were a woman. And now you're a man. You're pretty, and he's gonna be a woman in his next life as a waterbender. So he's like, he knew, he predicted it.
And she's fighting in the next life. So,
yeah.
But then, Aang says, okay, whatever. But I look forward to like learning from you.
How do you think Paku's gonna feel if he found out that Aang not only became a woman, but he becomes a woman who's gay or like bi? He'd probably be fucking throwing a fit.
Probably.
That's like double the woman. He's like, I can't do it.
Yeah. But yeah, so Aang says like after we adjust for a couple of days, we look forward to learning from you. And Master Parker's just like, no, you're gonna come into my class tomorrow morning. Like none of this messing around business or anything like that. Like none of that. So
it's like fun. I haven't had fun in 60 years.
I like this, right when he walks away, like the chief just like shrugs. He's just like even he has to like throw his hands up at this. Like he's dealt with this for like so long. He's just like throwing his hands up at it.
I will say, why the fuck did they pick this guy
as the chief or as the waterbending master?
Well, I mean, I guess both. But I guess Paku's like a good waterbending master. But I'm just like, you figure you'd pick somebody else who's like a better people person or like something like that,
Kind of sucks. The two episodes we've gotten of masters, they're not good masters. Like John's.
Later on, when Paku is like, I'm not teaching you anymore, Avatar. I will literally let the world die. Because you taught a woman how to bend. I will fucking let everyone die. And then the chief is like, yeah, legit, And it's like, what? You can't like give him another waterbending master? No. We let everybody die.
Yep. But we'll get to that later. Yeah, so then the next day happens.
Oh, you forgot. Oh yeah, well, I guess I want to talk about it. Never mind.
No, what did I forget?
I forgot. I'm talking about the soccer stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, the next day, Guitar was really excited. Her and Ada heading over to go learn Waterbending. And Guitar was like, has all the hopes up that it's going to be like a great experience and everything like that. During this, Master Parku is, messing around with some waterbending and stuff. And then Aang comes over as like the eager like kid and everything with like hey Master Parku, and again this dude just can't get over the fact he was dumped 60 years ago. He's just like, oh good, just interrupt me, not like I was concentrated or anything like that. And then Aang says like, yeah, and I brought my friend, and then Master Parku looks over and says, ew, you didn't mention your friend was a girl, cooties, ew.
I would love it if he's fucking said that.
I mean, that's essentially what he does say. He's like, yeah, you didn't mention your friend was a woman. Like, over here, we have laws, the women are forbidden to learn waterbending for fighting. They can only use it for healing. And, we talked about this off camera, but I like to think because he got dumped years ago, before, like, because he's pretty old, he's older than the chief. He was probably the chief. He, like, and if he wasn't the chief, he probably convinced the chief to put this rule in place just to not have women, like, fight.
Yeah,
like,
because it seems like nobody else really gives a shit about this rule. Like, it seems like it's just Paku. Or, like, the chief clearly didn't care that much.
I like to think, like, they had to meet in the middle, too. Like, he didn't want women learning waterbending at all. But, like, well, I guess we have to heal. But I like to think he's like...
I would love it if he's like, the women can't do anything. He's like, what, they can't learn waterbending? No, we need to kill all the women. He's like, okay, like, we're not going to do that. But, like, how about they can't learn waterbending? And he's like, fine.
You know what's weird? You said, like, it's inspired by Chinese culture. Is that Japan? Which one is it that, like...
Fire Nation is Japan. Earth Kingdom is China. Airbenders are Tibetan monks. Water Tribe is Inuit.
Oh, okay, never mind. That my joke's not going to work there then. So
why was the joke?
What like country? Maybe it's not a thing anymore. But that like, if the child was a woman, they would like kill it. Or is that like a?
Maybe China. I don't know.
Okay, let's end that because that joke doesn't really work.
I don't know about that one.
But anyhow.
Oh yeah, it was China. Because they wanted like the because they had like the one child policy.
Yeah.
Population. So basically, yeah, it was like they, if you didn't have a son, like, oh shit, well I guess kill the girl and then try for a son.
But anyhow, Master Parku was upset. I like that this
Paku came to our world to implement that law.
Yes. But obviously Katara's upset. I like that this is where it went to break. And it's really weird because the A plot, I don't think I've ever like seen this before, where the A plot didn't really like kick in until like it went to break, because we had gotten Sokka's part of the plot, then we would kind of get in like Zuko's plot, like getting set up around this time. The main plot really didn't kick in until like I would say like a little like a third way through the episode, which is kind of Say that again.
Yeah, like halfway into the episode.
Yeah, so Katara's obviously like upset, being like, hey, like I came all this way just to learn waterbending, and like you're just gonna tell me no. I like that he actually like says it too. Like I thought that was a funny joke. Just to really rub salt in the wounds type of thing. And Katara is upset that he won't teach her. But he tells her like you can go learn healing and all that type of stuff. And Aang originally is just gonna walk away, like, because he doesn't want to learn from somebody that's gonna treat women that way and all that type of stuff.
I think also like his friend specifically, because obviously Aang knows Katara is like what she's capable of, and he like she's traveled so far with him and helped him out so much. But yeah, I could see Aang being upset. That's like, what the fuck, like you're disrespecting Katara like this.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, they're about to walk away. But obviously, like, even Master Paku says like, okay, go find someone else to teach you waterbending. So I like that was Katara like had to be like, look, I know this guy like is a huge jerk and everything like that. But like this is like the only way you can learn waterbending. Like, don't turn it down just because of me and everything like that. And I like this.
Yeah, I like. No matter how upset Katara is, like she is prioritizing like Aang learning waterbending.
Yeah. So she walks away, and I do like this where like Aang like is gonna learn from him, but like obviously he's not happy about everything like that. Like you see he's like angry and everything like that. And then Master Paku like it kind of happens off screen, but it's like the cut to the next scene, like just blast Aang with like water, like obviously like wait, and he knows he's not gonna be like advanced enough to like dodge that or anything like that, or like stop it really. So he just blasts him with waterbend and everything.
Yeah,
like
again,
that.
it's like going to be around in 70 years when you become a woman, so I got to get my hits in when I can.
And he only was a woman at one point, so he's got to get.
He was a woman several times. If anything, Aang is more woman than any woman.
Probably, yeah. So, yeah, all this stuff was good though. I do kind of like this twist. And I like that Katara was kind of the focus of this episode, because I remember we talked about this off camera. They spent so much time getting to the North Pole. You thought Aang would have been like the main focus. But they actually switched it and had Katara, and like Sokka be like the main focus of like when they got to the North Pole, and then obviously like the Zuko stuff. I'm like in the middle on that. I think that's kind of cool. But again, I think I would be more okay with it if we had more time with the North Pole. That way we could have some Aang-focused episodes on the North Pole, because we really don't get that, except for the finale, which is the next episode. So, like, I'm like 50-50 on, like, yeah, that's cool. You would think it'd go one way, but I have a problem with it, because this is the only North Pole episode, like, we really
like. Yeah, again, like we said, Bossing Say did it a lot, where pretty much all the characters got some focus when they were in Bossing Say.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we got a couple training things. I'll do Aang's first, because that's pretty short. I mean, it's not as significant. Aang is obviously like trying to learn how to move the water. He's kind of just moving it around, but he doesn't really have like much control, much flow with it. And Master Paku's not really being that good of a teacher. He's kind of just watching Aang do this. He's not really like showing him.
He's doing it,
huh?
He's like barely even watching Aang. He's like eating his dinner.
Yeah. And he's not really like, showing him anything. Huh?
Yeah, he's not really like instructing him. He's just like, oh, you move like shit. All right, maybe that's too advanced for you.
Yeah. So, then, so that was kind of it though. I do kind of like this because like, Aang's also struggling too, because he doesn't really like want to do this because of the way he treated Katara. So that's Aang's probably having some like, he's like kind of begrudgingly like doing this, like learning and all that type of stuff. And he has to learn because this is the only person he could like learn like from for some reason.
I mean, it really isn't. Again, I feel like this would be kind of resolved if Aang and Katara went up to the chief and he's like, hey, listen, can we get like a new guy? This guy kind of sucks. And the chief was like, why? What's wrong with him? He's like, well, he keeps fucking screaming in the corner over there about fucking woman every 2 seconds. Again, fucking wakes up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, being like, it's okay, there's no woman around here.
Yeah. So then, the next scene, Katara goes to learn the healing. Obviously, this is pretty, embarrassing for Katara, because obviously, they start the woman, like, healing training, like, at a very young age, at, like, I would probably say, like, 5 or 6, maybe even younger than that. She comes in there, and she's, like, the only woman, like, of her age that's, like, there.
Yeah, she's, like, 14, everyblike else is, like you said, 5 or 6. Although, I do like that she is doing this, because, she only just learned that she could heal, like, 2 episodes ago?
Yeah, so,
So I feel like she is at least, like, getting some lessons on it, even though, obviously, like you said, it's embarrassing for her.
Yeah. So, we get that kind of off camera, and then the next scene we get, she kind of goes up to the teacher, and thanks,
Oh, sorry. But I like that the mannequin they're using has, like, the chakra flow points on it.
Yeah, that's cool. And then, she goes up to the teacher and says, like, thanks for the lesson. And then the teacher kind of notices her necklace, and she thinks that Katara's engaged because I guess in like the Water Tribe culture, as we're gonna find out when you especially talk about the Sokka plot, that means like you're engaged, like someone gave you that necklace to marry them and all that type of stuff.
It's a wedding ring for them, essentially.
Yeah, which is gonna be weird. There's a lot of wins there. I'm surprised they don't have a lot of wedding wins going around and all that type of stuff. So
I want the Jimmy Neutron song now. Like, I got the ring right here.
I got the necklace right here. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's Zuko. That's Zuko and his crew on their song. Like, I got the necklace right here. That's the one night Zuko got on the.
Master Paku has to be there watching that too in concert, being like, "That's my fucking."
When Paku are friends, Iroh invited Paku over for the night, and Paku was like, "Yeah, wait, that necklace looks kind of familiar."
Does Iroh sing that song too?
Yeah.
And they should get. I don't know if you remember that joke at the end of that episode of Jimmy Neutron. They like do that song again, but instead it's like because Sheen's the big joke is that Sheen can't sing, so they do like we all can sing except Sheen, and it's just them roasting Sheen. So they should just do that like. It could be like we could all sing except Paku. It's we all like woman except Paku type of thing. That would be a good one.
Love that.
I just love this whole video. Has just been the roast of Paku. Like,
he deserves it.
Is he gonna be like the new like Neo, the new like you know?
Oh, I don't know about that one. Nier, fuck. I mean, Paku is kind of like in this episode, and then he fucks off. Nier was like, Nier was special.
Paku's at least funny. Nier was just like show window.
Yeah, Nier was like, get the fuck out of this show.
And then Ben was the opposite. Stay in this. It's like stay in this show.
So like Ben's like hobbling into the light, and we're just grabbing his one leg. Like, please don't go.
Because once you leave the show, once this leaves, the show's gonna fall down.
Ben, you have like all the brain cells. Please don't go.
I mean, the first episode.
And the scientist walking around the corner, like, "Hi guys, what are you talking about?" And we're like, "No."
Remember when Lottie yelled at the scientist, like, "Go away, don't be here." It's like, yeah, because you're gonna ruin the show. You're gonna ruin everything.
Yeah.
So
look at it. You haven't seen the movie, but that one guy is like, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool," pointing at Cody, and "Fuck you, I'm out."
Yeah. But anyhow, so let's see. Well, okay, yeah. So she notices the necklace. Notices she's gonna get married. And obviously Katara has to explain, like, no, like, my grandmother gave this to me and then she passed it on to my mother. Obviously, this gets, like, I forget exactly how this happens, but how does it get brought up? Like, her grandmother and her, like, knew each other? Did she just say the name? Or is it, like, engraved into the necklace?
So basically, yeah, Katara showed her, she saw the necklace. Katara said, like, "Oh, no, this is my mom's," giving her mom. And then the lady was like, "Oh, wait a minute," like she realized the design, and she's like, "Oh, you're like the spitting image of Kana."
I got it.
Katara looks a lot like Kana, which makes sense, grandmother, granddaughter.
Yeah.
And when we Katara's mother, like, she also looks a lot like her.
That's true. And a twin sister, Kaya. So,
yeah. And then her daughter, Kaya.
And her her twin brother, Caillou.
Oh God, man, he fucking the whitest dad on the planet.
Okay, I guess that'd be a son Caillou, because that looks like more like Aang than Katara. So
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I would love it if Aang named his son Caillou. That'd be funny.
Well, this. I mean, obviously, you haven't seen Caillou in years, but I've watched a YouTube channel on it. Like every episode is like him whining or crying, all that type.
Oh, and it's so funny you mentioned Caillou because earlier today I got recommended like somebody like voicing over Caillou, but he has like he has like a deep like yelling voice.
That's funny. Wait, doesn't he anyway? I thought he did anyways though. When he had
Caillou, he's like 4.
Yeah, but anytime he whines and cries, he always is like I mean, it's not deep, but it's always yelling and everything like that. So
well, but like, like somebody did it like it's a grown man like voicing over Caillou's lines.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so going back on topic, so the healing master mentions that like she used to know Gran because she used to live there when she was a little girl, and obviously Katara's surprised by this because Gran never mentioned this before, and she mentions that like somebody gave that necklace to her to like marry her, but obviously we find out that it was an arranged marriage because she ended up just taking off because she didn't want to marry this person and like didn't really say goodbye or anything like that. And obviously Katara's surprised by this. I like that this is mentioned because you don't really think this is going to have anything to like do with anything, but then obviously it ends up solving Katara's plot.
Yeah. Because they also they don't specifically mention that's why she left, because she mentions like she was arranged to get married to somebody, but she left, and she's like I don't know why she left, like so they don't know that's why she left. It's because she didn't want to marry Paku.
That's right.
But it's funny that like she took the necklace, because that's kind of fucked up. But like imagine like you gave somebody a diamond ring, and they're like, oh wow, that's so great, and then they fuck off. It's like that shit cost me so much money.
Well, I guess it did for Paco because he said he made it, so that's good. So, but then, I think though in this Sokka's plot happened, but I liked all this. I kind of like that we're finding out like about Gran's past, because again, Gran was only in like one episode, well, 2 episodes, but it was a 2-parter. So like it's kind of cool we're finding out like about her past and everything like that type of thing. Anything you want to say on this?
Yeah, it's cool that again I like that we're seeing more of like the Northern Water Tribe society. That they're very different from the other nations, where like you said, the males learn how to fight and the women learn how to heal, which is kind of in line with what Sokka believed early on. That like the men should fight and the women should like be the housekeepers.
Yep.
So showing kind of like how the Water Tribe are, and then it's cool. It makes sense that like they would teach people how to heal, because that's obviously a very useful ability. And like I said, I love seeing bending in like non-fighting ways. Like I like that they teach classes on how to heal.
Yeah.
It's very surprising that we would get some backstory on the grandmother, because like you said, she was just kind of like in the 1 episode or 2 episodes, I guess, and that was kind of it. We didn't really get much on her, so it's interesting that like she was from the North Pole and then she moved to the South.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting that she was able to do that.
Yeah, I don't know how she got out of there or anything like that. So
because it's kind of implied that like the South and North Pole kind of like haven't been in contact in a long time. Although that was probably to be fair, the South Pole's kind of implied it like became a shithole like kind of recently. Because like the Fire Nation invaded it and all the men took off.
Yep.
So, presumably, when Gran was like a teenager, it was probably a lot better.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was probably easier to get to and from.
Yep. So then, Sokka's upset about something that you talk about. Probably nothing important,
No.
Nothing.
Much like his warrior training, it will never be brought up again.
Yep. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I guess all of this was written one day, so I guess it makes sense they haven't really seen much of each other. But Sokka kind of asked them how their waterbending training's going, and
Real quick, this is a cool shot of their like little house they're given. It's kind of crazy because it's like the only time we see it.
Yeah, I would have liked if we had like seen it.
Day, like their little house that they got was like they were there for a while. That was kind of like the main setting for a good couple episodes.
Yeah. So, yeah, they kind of fill in Sokka saying that like Master Paku like won't tease her because she's a girl, and Sokka actually has a great idea. And any other episode, and if it wasn't Master Paku, this idea would have worked. Where Sokka even mentions to Aang like that Aang could just teach Katara like himself. I do kind of like this idea, like, and they, Sokka gets the ball rolling, and like Katara's like, yeah, that's a great idea because whatever Aang learns in class Like, he could just teach her later and everything like that. Which, you know, makes a tons of sense, and I think, like, that's a really good idea. Again, I think if we had had more time in the North Pole, maybe that would have, like, carried over for a little bit and all that type of stuff. But because, you know, we have to wrap this up kind of quickly, it doesn't really happen that way. And, you know...
but I get it, Sokka is the one that came up with this idea.
Yeah, I thought that was good. I think it kind of makes sense, because I guess they were, like, emotionally upset about it, so Sokka was kind of out of the situation, like, enough, where Sokka could just be like, hey, why don't you just, like, teach her? You would think you would think Sokka would be like pissed because that's her brother, but I kind of like that Sokka was like the logical. Maybe if Sokka was in the moment, they wouldn't have thought of this, but I think because Sokka was dealing with his own shit, he was kind of out of his own.
And you see a little bit later, he is, like, concerned about Katara. But yeah, like you said, he's kind of dealing with his own stuff, so he's, like, not really as focused on it.
So then, Aang's trying to teach Sokka. I almost said Sokka waterbending. That wouldn't really work, but
all right, Sokka, time to teach you how to bend, and he's like, I can't. He's like, not with that attitude.
What do you think Master Parker would have done? He's like, oh, that's fine. But anyhow, then you know, he's teaching her, like, how to, like, control the water and everything like that. And Katara's doing it good, but then all of a sudden, Master Parker's womanizer, or, like, what do you call it?
Sexist?
No, the other word you've been saying this whole video. It begins with, like, a L or whatever.
Incel?
Yeah, incel. His incel. What's it called? His incel sense goes off. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, okay. I was about to say, where are you going with this? Yeah, because I was gonna make that joke of, like, bro, like, where did you come from? Again, he's just, like, around the corner, like, waiting, like I sense a woman doing something. You know?
I know.
He was, like, in the shower, like, and he's like, hey, he has to, like, fucking dart out of his house.
I know. I was trying to say that word. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Ben, I was trying to say that. I was trying to say that word earlier, but then I couldn't think of the word incel, and then I lost sense because I was trying to think of incel. So I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my gosh, I just lost it. So,
yeah. But I was thinking of the SpongeBob episode where, like, SpongeBob makes a joke about Sandy or something, and then Sandy, like, in a completely different part of town, it's like, for some reason, I think I'm gonna kick SpongeBob's butt tomorrow.
Yep. Well, you know, it's like that, the red versus blue thing where, like, Griff puts on, like, the freelance equipment. It's like, it makes him really fast. And then, like, he ran by, like, Sarge, and Sarge, like...
Sarge didn't realize it, but he was like, why am I so angry all of a sudden?
That's a good one. Well, it's a joke you used to make about Mario. It used to be like, you know, because we didn't really meet Mario as a character fully until, like, season 2. But, like, you could go back. She's in season 1. You just don't know it. You could go back in season 1 and be like, hey, why do I feel hate all of a sudden?
Incredible urge to just punch somebody in the face.
But yeah, anyhow, but Master Paku's incel sense goes off. So all the, you know, he takes... I like that he took the water away, by the way. He doesn't just announce himself that he's there. He, like, took the ability for Katara to bend the water, like, away from her. Like, took the water.
Yeah, I love he had to, like, he was probably, like, walking down the street and saw him. I love he had to, like, go up to the bridge and then, like, do, like, a fancy thing with the water. Like, and he had to, like, pose in the moonlight. He's like, oh, I'm gonna look so cool. I'm gonna look... Oh, man, Kana's gonna regret not marrying me. Fucking water guy. Yeah, that's me.
But
it's like, bro, you're a loser.
Kind of is. But yeah, he talks about how he disrespected his he says to Aang that he disrespected his teachings, his culture, and worse, like the whole tribe or whatever. Like, I don't think he says exactly that, but that's basically like what he says. Like,
okay. He was probably writing this down. He was probably thinking of the speech in his head all day. He was just waiting to give this speech. It's like, bro, you're 76. Get a life.
Do you think he has this speech, like, prepared in case, like, a student brings it?
He was in his home, looking in the mirror, like practicing his speech. Like, yeah. What do you think about that, Avatar? You ain't so tough, are you? Yeah.
Do you think he has this speech to like any student though that like does like breaks this rule? Like he has this speech like prepared to a team.
Again, he's like spying on all the students, waiting. Like, oh, are they teaching a girl? Are they teaching a girl? Oh, he is. Yes. All right. Cool. Yeah, I gotta get that speech ready.
So he tells them, he's the Avatar and everything like that. The fate of the world depends on this to like learn waterbending and everything like that. But teaching a woman waterbending, he's no longer welcome in his class anymore. He's done. So
yes,
that's it.
I will let all this die horribly.
You just don't teach a woman waterbending, apparently.
It's the Shrek thing, Lord Farquaad. Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Yep. How do you think he feels about like women learning other bendings, like a woman learning earthbending, or a woman learning airbending, or a woman learning firebending? You think he's okay with that?
I don't think he's okay with a woman doing anything. I don't think he's okay with a woman breathing.
Wow. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Is it Kana? Maybe that's why Kana left.
I imagine why. Yeah, it's like when you're engaged to that guy. Jeez.
I mean, we haven't seen Kaya, Katara's twin sister, around in a while since the unaired pilot.
Yeah, she fucking Paku got to her.
Yeah, it's pretty. Maybe there's a reason maybe that's why it's an unaired pilot, because they had
Right after the episode ends, Paku comes in. Waterbending slice.
By the way, I can't wait, because in the Avatar game I'm playing right now, it's through Paku. Paku's the one telling the story. I can't wait till I hope he's the one telling the story when we get to like this part of the show and everything like that.
Right. And then Paku showed up, and I showed up with my fucking 12-pack ripped to all heavens, with my fucking golden locks flowing through the wind.
Yeah. Because that woman did say like whatever they tell her, it's gonna be factual type of thing. So whatever Paku says like goes and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
So, but that's where the commercial ends. That's where the commercial starts. It didn't end there. It'd be hilarious, by the way, if you got some like Nickelodeon ad after this about like, I don't know what, but like some type of thing, like
Women's Day.
Like what?
Happy Women's Day.
Yeah. So that'd be funny.
I would love it. Like it's like the Mr. Krabs joke where like Paku's mom comes out of nowhere and like sends him to his room.
Yes, that'd be awesome. Makes them paint the house like they did in that one episode. It's funny.
Oh man, that they I'm pretty sure they don't air that episode anymore because of the whole panty raid thing.
Yeah, I think that's around the same time as this actually too, because that's like season 3 of SpongeBob. So
pretty.
Yeah. So but yeah, that's pretty much it. Overall, this is fine. We make a joke about it, but it was a coincidence. Like the first night that like Aang's doing this, like Paku just happened to walk by and all that type of stuff. Like, obviously, if we got more time in the North Pole, I would have liked maybe like a montage or something where Aang was doing this. And then like you got.
It's a little ridiculous of Paku being like he was like, I'm not going to train the Avatar to save the world because he's teaching a girl. I'm like, all right, man, really? Like, come on. You're getting a little extreme here.
Yeah. So.
And again, I feel like there's a simple answer. It's just like, Chief, give him another fucking waterbending teacher. Like, why is it this asshole? Like of all the assholes in the world, you pick this one.
Honestly, that is kind of realistic, though. Like, sometimes like people in management positions just are huge assholes, and like of all the people.
Okay, like, I mean, I get it. He's probably like the best waterbender. He's a member of the White Lotus and shit. Like, probably very powerful. But I'm like, I mean, come on, just give him somebody else.
Yeah. But then it comes back from break, and Aang and Katara.
That Aang got taught. Sorry, kind of funny that Aang got taught by 2 White Lotus members, and they were both shit.
Yeah, I know. And he's well. What about the? I guess Boomy. He got caught by Boomy because
I was thinking Jong too, because they were really bad teachers.
That's true. And then
Boomy was gonna be Aang's earthbending teacher, but then he was like, nah.
Yeah, he's like, So it's interesting that he's had the chance to get taught by 3 of the White Lotus members, and they've all, they all haven't worked out. So.
But again, then you got the Chad Piandao. Is that his name, Piandao? Just fucking over in the corner at the barbecue, just fucking flexing his muscles,
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I taught Sokka how to be a master swordsman in 1 episode.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, he was a good teacher. So.
And he taught Zuko.
Huh?
And he taught Zuko.
He did teach Zuko.
Yeah, that talked about in the comic. Yeah, and it's funny that that because again the whole broadsword thing got brought up this episode.
Yeah, so it's crazy to think we've seen a little over half of the White Lotus members already. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you're right.
So actually, we only have one more left to meet. Actually,
yeah, I was gonna say the only one we haven't met is Piandao.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so then when it comes back from break, Aang and Katara kind of pleaded with Master Parker and the chief for Aang to be taken back in as one of his students, and the chief says the chief is kind of defending Parker a little bit and everything like that, and the chief even tells Katara if she apologizes to him and swallows her pride, then maybe Parker will reconsider it. I do kind of the chief's not saying this really to be a dick or anything like that. I think he's just trying to play peacemaker and all that type of stuff.
Well, again, I feel like that we are saying that he is also kind of stuck in his ways. Well, he seems like he's kind of he believes in the rule that women shouldn't be learning to waterbend to fight.
Yeah. So
again, he's basically I'm not going to force him. And he's like, well, if you apologize, he'll, lighten up or So basically, he seems pretty stuck in his ways, but he seems a lot more reasonable.
Yeah, and Katara was actually going to do it. She was going to swallow her pride, but then
I like Katara in this episode. She is also pretty reasonable.
Yeah, but Master Parker's gloating about it, okay, I'm waiting for my apology. And obviously Katara's just no, you're just old and miserable, and someone needs to teach you a lesson. So she challenges him to a waterbending duel. And I like that you can kind of see Katara has she's very powerful but just doesn't know it. When she gets real angry, there was I think a pottery
cracks in the wall that she was forming.
Yeah,
because of her anger.
And she broke a pottery thin. So
I like it because I saw that in episode 1 where she accidentally broke that iceberg.
Yeah.
Again, Katara is how you do a powerful female main character right. She and again I love that she was basically I will Paku meet me in the fucking Denny's parking lot. I'm gonna kick your ass, old man. Me and you are gonna fucking scrap in the fucking parking lot.
I love that, yeah. And I like this too, because this is why it's good we're doing Danny and Avatar together. Because the next Ben episode is about Gwen, a good female lead. And unfortunately, the opposite, where we haven't really seen a good Sam episode yet or anything like that type of thing.
Yeah, so. But we've had really good episodes with Jazz and Valerie.
Yeah, so.
Again, Owen's not there yet, but Ray, man, she sucks. Again, she should be taking some notes from Katara and them.
Who?
Ray.
Is she in Ben?
No, Star Wars.
Oh, okay. I will say Sam's a lot like Master Paku. Remember that the last Danny episode we did, she was Master Paku basically in that. Was that just Master Paku reincarnated, you think? And he's upset.
Yeah, again, he's mind controlling her.
Yeah.
He's influencing or whispering her in her ear.
But Aiden obviously is trying to like play peacemaker, be like, I don't think she meant that, and I like that. I like Sokka's like, no, I think she meant that. Like he even he can't even like pretend she didn't mean that and anything like that.
It's also very, it's very in line with Sokka, where like he knows his sister. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not even gonna try to pretend. No, she meant it.
And
and I love that the chief and everybody was like shocked when Katara was like, I'm gonna kick your ass into Denny's parking lot, old man. Because again, they're they're probably so used to all the girls in the Northern Water Tribe, like Yue, like she's not cool with the rules, but she kind of has to like suck it up. So they are probably really surprised by seeing a girl be like, nah, fuck that shit.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I do like this, like Sokka and Aiden are trying to talk down Katara, and Sokka even like tells Katara, like, look, you know you're not gonna win this fight. I like this, like Katara's like even like I know like she knows she's not gonna win this fight, but she just wants to like basically make a point and like make a stand to like Master Paku, like showing I'm not gonna like
which again, I think that's great. Yeah, that she like knows she's not gonna win, but she's just like, no, like you said, I gotta send a message.
Yeah. So Master Paku.
I also Aang is like, hey, listen, you don't got to do this for me. Like, I can find another waterbending master, which is like, yes, Aang, you can find another waterbending master.
Yeah.
I do like because before Katara was doing it for Aang, of like, like she was kind of swallowing her pride. But yeah, now she's like, no, Aang, I'm not doing this for you. Like, somebody's got to fucking kick that old man in the ass.
Which I do like that now that like it's not just about the water, like not teaching like. Not for Aang anymore. I like that she's like had enough of being disrespected. I think not just her, but she doesn't want like other women to get disrespected. She's like doing this for the woman, pretty much, and everything like that.
Yeah.
So
message, yeah.
So Master Paku walks down and Katara's like, oh, so you decided to show up. And Master Paku's like obviously very dismissive about this, like, go back with the other.
Would have been very funny if he like went out the back door.
He went up and what?
Would have been funny if you went up the back door.
Yeah. But Master Paku's like, go back with the other healing waterbenders there. And Katara, takes she basically does the water whip to him, like right to the back of his head, which I do like that was like the first shot in the fight, because that's like the move she like struggled to do like that.
And again, she does pretty good in this fight, and it makes sense because since the waterbending scroll, we've had scenes of her like practicing waterbending in the background. So like she's obviously been improving as the season's gone on. And she's gotten into multiple fights, so she's kind of like learned like through battle to like get better.
Yeah, but I like this fight. And again, like Master Paku definitely underestimated Katara. But I do like that Katara actually does good. Like she never does any damage really, and she never knocks like Master Paku off her feet, but she's able to like defend herself like enough and like do well enough in this fight to like even I'll go through obviously the fight blow by blow in a second, but even Master Paku like during the fight even tells Katara like, wow, you're actually like a pretty good waterman. Like he's even like surprised by this and everything like that type.
Well, yeah, I like it because at first he's kind of like mocking her a little bit and like he's taking it easy.
Yeah.
Like at that one point, we're not attacking her. He just like makes like a water wall around them, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, little girl, I'm not gonna hurt you." But then, yeah, as the fight goes on, he starts to like take it more seriously, and like you said, he like legitimately compliments her, like, "Oh wow, you're actually pretty good."
Yeah, but yeah, you get a few scenes of this fight. Master Paku makes like a water wall around them, and obviously Katara's taken back by this, but then eventually Katara like moves the water away, and then doing all of this, Katara, is being taken to school a little bit. Master Paku traps her in water and like dumps her like into like a well, and then Katara like stands her ground, and she freezes herself like into like one of the pottery like bowls, and even says like, you can't knock me down. And she,
I love that. Like she like used that's pretty smart way of like like keeping her to keep her footing. She like uses ice to lock herself in place.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is like she takes like a lot of ass kicking in this fight, but like Katara keeps getting up and like keeps fighting back and everything like that. Like she's basically like doesn't give up in this fight. Like Master Paku, at one point she actually because we haven't seen her do this before. Like she freezes like some like discs, like water disc, and just starts throwing them at like Master Paku and everything like that type of thing.
Yeah, and I love the one slow-mo shot of like he's dodging it, and then you see he sees his like reflection and like the ice thing as it like just narrowly like misses his face.
Yeah,
and he has oh fuck, that almost hit me.
Yeah.
Or one part where she just starts like. She just straight up like is like fuck this waterbending shit, and she just starts to like try and punch him.
I know, I like that. Yeah, I think too. Waikatoa didn't do like she did well in this fight, but she probably could have done better. But I think she was also, like I will said, like don't give into like anger. Like I think if she wasn't so angry, she probably would have done even better in this fight, probably. But she was just so done with this shit and everything like that. You know,
it reminds me of the Luke and Vader fight, where at the beginning you can see Vader's like obviously like toying with him. But then, like, as the fight goes on, like, Luke is doing a little bit better. And then, like, as soon as Luke, like, lands an actual hit, Vader, like, ends the fight.
Yeah, definitely.
Where Paku's playing at first, Katara does a bit better, and then he's like, all right, enough's enough, and then he, like, traps her in ice.
Yeah. But yeah.
It was, like, it wasn't close. Like, Paku was never going to lose. But, like, the fact that Katara lasted as long as she did is, like, legitimately impressive.
Yeah.
Because it's, like... somebody with no actual training versus a master of like decades, you know?
Yeah. Do you think it's hate?
Demolish everybody.
Yeah. Wait, if it was who?
If it was Rey, she would just fucking demolish everybody.
Sure. I have to disagree with that.
You're not there yet.
So, am I there soon or no?
No, you're still a ways off.
Okay. Now, do you think Master Paku's hatred of women helped him in this fight too? Also, you know.
Oh yeah, no. Anytime he's up against a woman, he gets a 50%. You know how in Nicktoons in a Nicktoons game, it's like you equip an armor and you get like 50% defense or something.
Yeah.
50% better like attack against females.
Yeah. So then, you know, after he freezes her like in icicles and everything like that, Katara still like wants to fight. And I do like this. You actually saw a necklace fall off during this fight because I remember we complained about that. Well, not really complained, but we kind of wish we would have seen it happen like in the imprisoned episode. So I do like that we actually saw a necklace fall off during this fight.
That's I was mentioning. I like the detail of Zuko's fire dome. Yeah, that's a good example of like I wish we actually saw Katara's necklace fall off in that episode.
Yeah.
But real quick, I like that, like, the battle damage. Like, you know, you see earlier in the fight, Katara's, like, neat hair kind of was falling apart a little bit. And then towards the end of the fight, her hair went completely undone.
Yeah, I like that.
I like when the characters actually get, like, battle damage.
But yeah, so Master Paku notices the necklace, and he's, like, surprised to see it. And he says, like, this is my necklace. Like, obviously really somber and everything like that. Like, he's actually, like, showing emotion other than anger for the first time in his life in over 60 years. Obviously Katara gets upset by this, and he's like, I made this for my fiance, like Kana and everything like that. And Katara's surprised by this, and this was supposed to be a surprise reveal to the audience that like Gran was supposed to like marry him. I will say, even though this was like a cool scene to time, because you got the reveal of Zuko like being alive and like, you know, obviously in the prison guard outfit, like right after this too. So you got like two kind of reveals like in the same, like back to back, and it didn't feel like, and it also didn't feel like it was throwing too much at you and all that type of stuff, which is good too. You know, because that's a complaint I had of Return of the Jedi. Like we got the reveal of like Luke and Leia being like twin brothers or twin siblings. And then they threw that whole plan about the rest of the movie at you like right after that type of thing. So
twin brothers, like Han Solo's in for a bit of a surprise.
Very much so, yeah. So
Leia lightsaber, if you know what I mean.
But yeah, obviously, Master Paku's like obviously really somber now, and he says like that he made this necklace for Kana, and she's upset that like she left. And I like this, you know, now Katara knows the full story and like why she left. Katara even like says like, you know, Gran didn't want to let like the town the tribe's customs like affect her life, and she didn't want to do, so that's why like she left and like basically abandoned her life and everything like that. And as you'll talk about that at this point, Master Yue cries, and not Master Yue, Princess Yue. Hey, she's a master being a princess. That's something,
Yeah, there you
go. But Princess
she's
Yue,
master at being a fish.
yeah. So Princess Yue like cries and runs away. And obviously this is gonna tie into your plot line later, that you'll probably spend like 5 minutes talking about.
Yeah.
And obviously off screen, the end of this plot, Ain't still learning waterbending and everything like that. Master Paku, it's just kind of more so giving him shit, but at least it's not as bad as it was at the beginning of the episode, where he's kind of like...
Yeah, I just say, like, I like that he's still giving him his shit, but, like, in a different way, because before, he was, like you said, he was just being an asshole, like, he was, like, dismissive, and, like, he's like, you suck, and also women suck. That doesn't have to do with anything, but I just want to say it. But here, he's like, he's not actually eating his dinner, he's paying attention, and he's like, he's cracking a joke, like, he's smiling and laughing, he's like, hey, good news. Maybe you'll master it by the time you're my age, Like, yeah. It's more of like a lighthearted jab.
And then Katara comes up, and obviously, like, Master Paku's just like, what do you think you're doing? And obviously, what you think he's gonna say is like, he's gonna like curse her out and everything like that. But then he says,
like, breathing, female.
Females aren't allowed to breathe. That's against our customs. Yeah. You realize you break that like right when you get born, then, right? If you're a female, that's broken right away. So
go join the Airbenders if they're not breathing.
Yeah, but no, it's a nice moment here where he says you're late. So I'm gonna get some time past then, maybe like a couple days at this point, because obviously this wasn't like her first lesson or anything like that. She had been doing this for a little bit, so I do like that. I guess I can kind of buy his character change a little bit. And I
don't know. I was kind of confused on what Paku's lesson here was, because he was basically like, "Oh shit, you're the granddaughter of the woman who cucked me," and then she was like, "Yeah, she left you because you were a bitch." And he's like, "Damn, I guess I'm gonna change my entire outlook." I guess
so.
I don't really know what he took from that. I guess that like he was an asshole, and that's why the love of his life left him.
And maybe he learned like not to like your tribe's customs, like just to take over your life and everything like that. But
yeah, I guess that would be the lesson. Is that he like should think for himself. I don't know. It's a little weird.
I'm gonna be Stewie here though and say you should have, because I remember it's a Family Guy joke where Peter mentioned, "Oh, I learned like this, and everything," and then Stewie said, "You should have known that," type of thing. Like they did. I'm gonna be Stewie there and be like, Paku should have known that.
Yeah, well, because I'm just like, I guess they didn't know why Kana left, but I'm like, I mean, I feel like Paku would have been able to figure it out,
I guess it just took him 6. He just had to see the necklace.
Like you said, Stewie, it's like you probably should have figured that out sooner, there, pal.
Yeah. Although I know we rag on this plot, but I do like this plot like a lot. I actually do like this plot. It's pretty solid. I like that it's a good Katara episode. And I feel like this plot. I think it's fine in 2005. Because this is before like woman progressivism kind of like gets really big. So like you could kind of do a plot like this, and it stands out.
I love it. Like 2005 is like, it's like the 1800s. Like women don't have rights or anything. It's like, oh man, how far we've progressed in 20 years.
Well, I will say like every episode of like a show now though, like it's about that type of stuff. Like even today and everything like that type of thing. So
yeah. Again, I think it's cool because obviously we the audience know Katara's like she can handle herself in a fight, and like is a great bender with a lot of potential. So Paku not knowing any of that shit, he's like, yeah, no, fuck off. And again, I like seeing the Water Tribe customs, and it's like none of the other really tribes have shit like this. So it is interesting, like how the Water Tribe is very different from the other tribes or other nations.
Yeah, I like this.
Gender rules.
And I like obviously just seeing waterbending, and I just think the aesthetic looks pretty cool. So I like all this stuff. I think this made sense for like a first episode in the North Pole too, to have a plot like this. So I thought that made a lot of sense. Obviously, I would have, I would have liked obviously more, but I feel like this was a good first episode in the North Pole and everything like that type of thing.
Yeah, it is. It's good. Again, I wish it wasn't our only really look into their society.
For
Next
sure.
episode is like they're dealing with kind of bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
Again, because I've often complained about episodic episodes of like, this should have mattered more. I am fine with episodic episodes. I would love an extra 2-3 episodes that like don't really matter that much in the grand scheme of things. Just to like develop the characters more, let us see more of the Water Tribe.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Like I'm fine with that. So.
But unfortunately, but yeah, in isolation though, all of this is fine. Unfortunately, as you'll talk about, the Sokka plot is the thing that kind of gets fucked around. I think that's the one.
I was gonna say this is all paced pretty fine. Although, just like I said, it is like like aside from like one or two things, this is like for the most part pretty good. And the action scene was great.
Yeah.
Like I said, I like that Katara held her own, but like she wasn't gonna win, and like Paku didn't struggle that much. He was just more so taken aback by how she's very impressive, despite not being really like formally trained.
Yeah. And I'll talk about this real quick too, and then I'll let you talk about the Sokka thing. Because I didn't really remember this from when I've seen this episode before. A lot of the scenes in this episode are very quick. I think because a lot of it they wanted to show like, the North Pole and everything like that. A lot of it probably went to this fight because this fight lasts, for a good couple minutes and everything like that. Because the Zuko scene.
Fortune teller, I complained like the volcano thing was like a minute.
Yeah.
I'm glad it like a good like 2-3 minutes of like the fighting.
Yeah, but the Zuko scene. The Zuko scenes are pretty well fast paced. The festival's pretty fast paced. So, not a bad thing. It's just something I noticed. So,
also I like that in the there's like a crowd for the Katara versus Paku fight, and a lot of them are like girls, and they're like cheering Katara on. I like that. That like a lot of them probably feel the same way Katara do, but again, because they've grown up in this society, they feel kind of like beaten down, like they can't stand up for themselves.
Yeah.
Whereas being kind of the outsider can be the one to be like, nah, this is fucking stupid.
I like that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about the only real thing that's affected with not enough time on the North Pole, as you'll talk about, is the Sokka plot, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, which sucks because this is pretty important. So yeah, when they first get there, Sokka sees Yue, she's the only character who looks like she's not a background character. Down the street, and he's like immediately like infatuated with her. She thinks she's beautiful. And then later that night at the dinner, obviously he notices her again because she's introduced as the princess. And I actually forgot she's actually a little bit older than Sokka, because Sokka's 15 here and she just turned 16.
Kind of a break into the mode. Because when you're like younger and everything, like because this is a kid show. When you're younger, at least in my point of view, like usually the guy is older than the girl, so that kind of breaks that mold and everything.
Well, actually, and Katara is 2 years older than Aang.
No, he's not.
We're not counting the 100 years in the iceberg.
I'm counting it.
That makes it even worse. A 14-year-old and a 112-year-old. That makes it even worse.
Maybe we'll have to add Aang to a list then. So.
Yeah. God damn it, Aang. No.
We don't have a choice.
Yeah. I would love it. Like in Zhao's little like child chasing club, you see Aang in the corner over there. Like he's got his like Fire Nation disguise on.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah. He really wasn't. Yeah. That's the big That's the big twist of Avatar. He really was. I mean, Taka wasn't blonde. He really was a Fire Nation spy, actually. So.
I would love that. Yeah, him and Zhao hang out on the weekends.
Well, I mean, Taka was because obviously Aang's the past life, so Aang really was a Fire Nation spy. He was a Fire Nation before the Airbender. So.
Right. You're right. Damn it, Sokka. We should have listened to you. You were right the whole time.
Yeah. It was the worst Avatar of all time, too, actually. See, the Washington joke, that is the worst avatar of all time.
Yeah. Ever of all time. Got to add in the ever.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so, obviously at the dinner, UA's there. And, obviously Katara and Sokka are the guests of honor, so they're at the big table with the Chief and Aang. And then UA sits next to Sokka. And Sokka immediately starts, he's pulling out his, his Rising book. He's like, I got to spit some game. And he's like, I do like that I love the face expression she's making.
Yeah.
Where she just has like big wide eyes and a big smile. Like, you can tell she's like interested in Sokka, as well.
Yeah, I like that.
He's kind of fucking up a little bit. He's like, so you're a princess. That's great. Like he's really awkward about it, but she's like, she's charmed by it.
Yeah.
I think because as the princess, like when we meet her fiance next episode, he's a douchebag, and he basically he's like, yeah, UA's cool, but like I'm more interested in like her title, like marrying her would get me a bunch of perks. I'm sure a lot of people just look at her like, for her position. So Sokka being this kind of like awkward guy who just, finds her attractive for her, that's probably like a breath of fresh air for her.
Yeah, because Sokka didn't even know she was. Because that's the thing. Sokka didn't even know she was the princess when he saw like originally and all that type of stuff. Yeah. So, and I guess we didn't really either. So,
yeah. And I do love this where he's trying to like seem more impressive than he is. So he's like, I'm kind of like a prince back in the South Pole. And Katara's like, the prince of what? And I'm like, well, I mean, to be fair, he kind of is. I mean, like their dad is the chief, so like he's kind of a prince.
I mean, he was the one holding down he was the man holding down the fort, like with his dad.
He was kind of the leader, so I'm like, if anything, he was like kind of the king.
Yeah, he really was. Yeah, so.
I'm like, I mean, he's like, as Obi-Wan would say, from a certain point of view.
Yeah, but that's a lie when he says shit like that. So.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah. I love this point where he's like gets really awkward, so he just like stuffs a ton of food in his face.
Yeah, that's pretty realistic.
And then he's like, so since I'm gonna be in town for a while, maybe we can like get together and do like an activity. Like he wants to call it a date, but he's just like really awkward about it.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to overstep too much. So he's like an activity. The animators did a good job with their facial expressions.
I thought so. Yeah.
She smiles and like she kind of wants to like laugh a little bit. Like again, she seems like she's like having fun with it. Like she is like kind of charmed by Sokka.
Yeah.
Kind of like a genuine guy. And she's like, oh, an activity, huh? And she's like, yeah, sure. Well, yeah, sometime. And then the next day, while Paku is fucking screeching about women, Sokka's walking down the street, and he runs into UA, who is on her boat, and he basically says, like, the party was great. Your dad really knows how to throw a party, but it wasn't as much fun after you left. And I love what she blushes here.
Yeah.
Again, Sokka's doing a fucking good job, man. Like, he's fucking good with it.
There's a reason they went to him for advice in Fortune Teller, So.
Yeah, well, again, Sokka, like all the girls fucking love Sokka. Dookie, Yue, Ty Lee. I don't know if you're there yet, but Karai from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was like calling Sokka hot in the Nicktoons game.
Oh yeah, I'm not there yet, so that's cool.
So like he's literally pulling girls from other universes.
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah.
I mean, that episode too. Tales of Boston Say, the Sokka plot. They, he gets it up until.
Oh yeah, like the whole room of women are like fawning over him.
Yeah. So, it's a good one.
Yeah. So yeah, Sokka. I mean, yeah. Sokka's like a handsome dude. He's pretty funny. It's like, yeah, no, I can see it.
Yeah. I kind of like that too, because usually when you see a character like that, they like think they're good with women, but they're like really not. So like, I actually kind of like that he is. I guess that kind of fits the time of Nickelodeon though, because you were seeing this Drake and Josh. You know, that was a big character thin of Drake's, and that was going on around the time. And then, you know, um, I can't think of another one, but there was a lot of Nickelodeon shows that were kind of doing that and everything like that.
I like that. Like he is different from like Drake, for example, where like he's awkward, but like in an endearing way. Because sometimes in a show they go a little too far with the awkwardness.
Yeah.
Like I know sometimes like Spider-Man, they have an issue with that where like he comes off as like too dorky and it's kind of cringy.
In which one? There's like in which version?
I would say the newer ones, like the MCU ones.
Okay.
He's a little too awkward, I guess.
Yeah, the only one I think that's probably more so for the comedy than the character stuff.
Probably. Also, like the original ones. He's and he's real bad at communicating in those ones.
That's true. Yeah, I remember the second one. That was a big one. Yeah, No.
Oh yeah, the second one. I'm saying the one with Andrew Garfield, the Amazing Spider-Man. He's actually pretty good in that one.
Yeah.
Flirting with Gwen, and in Spectacular Spider-Man and Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s. Those he was pretty good in. And like he was pretty clear on what he wanted, but he was very like nerdy and dorky.
Yeah. So.
I mean, he got fucking married in the 90s once, so he must have been doing something.
Yeah,
right.
He did something right. So.
Yeah.
That could have been an arranged marriage though, so we don't know.
Yeah, no, it could have been.
I haven't seen the show yet, so it could have been.
His wife turns him to water in that one, so fucking Pocket must have been responsible for that one.
I don't forget. I remember you told me in one of the. I think in like the comics, he like sacrifices marriage to like the devil or whatever.
Yeah. Oh fucking God, I forgot. God damn it. Fuck that one. Owen, that shit is still fucking up Spider-Man. That shit happened like 20 years ago, and it's still fucking up. Oh my God, I can't even. Oh my God, that's the whole thing.
Hey, maybe the Yellow Jackets cast would have sacrificed their happiness to the devil to get out of the, the wilderness.
Yeah, that'd be funny. He's like, yeah, no, I want your happiness. Man. No, he goes up to Thaisa. I want your marriage. She's like, all right, cool, here you go.
No, I want your good plot lines for Thaisa.
And she's like, what do I get in exchange? Dan. She's like, fucking say less. Oh man.
And then she didn't get Van at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're right. That's a real devil's deal right there. Like, sure, I'll give you Van for half a season.
Yeah, not even. Yeah, and she's sick for most of it too.
Yeah, dying of cancer. Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I love that. Again, Sokka's doing a good. Like, again, they're hitting that fine balance between like he's good at flirting and like he's awkward and nerdy.
Yeah.
Well, not nerdy, like kind of a dork. Where again, he's very upfront, but he's just like again, he's 15. He's he's just like struggling to get the words out, I guess.
Yeah, he's not a marrying age yet, so
Yeah, almost. So is UA part of the child chasing club?
I guess not, right? Because it's different laws back then. But notice Zhao doesn't show much interest in her when she shows up in that episode and stuff.
Yeah, he's like, you're clearly legally an adult, which is not what I'm going for.
I mean, he doesn't show much interest in Sokka though. So when he sees him, so
I would love that. He goes to the Sokka like, so. What's that boomerang do?
Oh my gosh! He's like it comes. He's like, oh my gosh, no.
You always come back, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll come back, all right. Well, Zhao always.
I was like, that might be going too far.
Zhao comes back every time, so.
Yeah. UA's like, all right, hey, I'll meet you on that bridge tonight, and he's like, okay. And then I do love this, because again, it's like Venice inspired, where the roads are water. Where again, Sokka's not really paying attention, so he like falls into the water. And then again, I like that Yui kind of laughs at that, and she's like, "Oh, sorry about that." and Sokka gets up and he's like, "It's okay. It was worth it."
Yeah.
Again, I like this. They really gave him good chemistry in like fucking 2 minutes. Not even. I wish we got more of it.
Me too. Yeah.
That just sums up these 3 episodes of like they're good. Just give me more of it. Because that night, Yue's at the bridge. And Sokka shows up, and he's like, "Hey, I made you something. It's like a wooden carving." And she's like, "Oh, it's a bear." And then Sokka flips it around. He's like, "It was actually a fish, but close enough."
Yeah.
But then Yue's like, "Yeah, no, this was a mistake. I shouldn't have met you. Bye." And then she just like runs off, and Sokka's obviously like upset. And when he goes to meet up with Katara and Aang, he's of course he feels let on, and he's confused. So confused that he forgot he had warrior training, and he forgets for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Katara and Aang are like, "So how's warrior training?" And he's like, "Oh, doing that?" No, he doesn't even acknowledge it. He's just like, "Yeah, no, Princess Yue is like, she seemed interested in me, and now she just like tells me to buzz off. Like, I don't know what to make of that."
I do like that he's upset about that, but yeah, I forgot about the warrior training thing. Like, wow, like they actually had like Sokka was going to like warrior training and stuff. Like, I know that would take away from like the episode in season 3, but I would have like actually liked to have seen some episodes where like he went to warrior training. That would have been like cool,
And again, like it's something I'll probably bring up when we do like the rereading book 1 thing. But the Chief and Sokka have like a couple little scenes that I think are good. Where the Chief gets mad, Sokka thinks he gets mad at him and takes him off the mission. When Sokka, wants to go on this like top secret undercover thing, but the Chief like levels with him and he's like, "Hey, listen, like I trust you with protecting my daughter." And at the very end, they kind of have that heart to heart where the Chief is like, "I knew this day would come one day," and Sokka's like, "You must be proud," and Chief is like, "So proud, but I'm also very sad." And I'm like, that's 2 very like heart to heart things, and I'm like, I kind of wish that got expanded on.
Me too.
Because Sokka, his dad is the chief of the Southern Water Tribe, and Sokka's always wanted to like live up to his dad and be like a great warrior and leader. It'd be kind of cool if he kind of like looks to this guy as like a as like maybe like a stand-in father, or like the Chief kind of takes him under his wing a little bit.
Yeah, I would have liked that. That would have been cool.
And again, it would be another good way to kind of tie him and Yue together.
Yeah, I would have liked that.
And again, like we said, it kind of would expand on his like feelings of wanting to be a warrior and a leader.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially because we just had Bato the Water Tribe, where that was a big thing on like Sokka's feelings about his dad. And we just had the Northern Air Temple where Sokka kind of has that like friendship with the inventor.
Yeah, so it would have been nice if you had like another friendship thing going and everything like that.
Yeah. So because again, like I said, this isn't just me pulling this out of my asshole. This is like this is kind of in these episodes, and I'm like, it's really good what we have, but just like it's so brief. Like I need this kind of expanded on.
Yeah, and I think like we talked about, they learned this lesson in book 2 and actually like do that and everything like that.
Yeah. Well, and again, this is like one of Sokka's big character arcs throughout the show. It's him like his feelings on wanting to be a warrior and a leader and like all that stuff. This is stuff that we also see in book 2 and 3. This is like throughout the show. So like being in the Northern Water Tribe with all these other like great Water Tribe warriors, I would want more of that.
Yeah, I definitely would have. Yeah.
Since again, that's just kind of a throwaway line that Sokka is supposed to be doing warrior training. It's like never brought up again.
Yeah, and again, I forgot that was even brought up. Because I always thought they just asked like about like his date with Yue, and like, oh, they actually talked about warrior training. I'm like, what the hell? Like we never see that. We never hear about that. Like I never caught that.
Yeah, again, that's a big character thing for Sokka, is him wanting to be a great Water Tribe warrior. I want to see that, because the only person he really interacts with besides the Chief briefly is like the douchebag that Yue's supposed to marry. Yeah. Actually, Sokka's kind of the one who takes charge a little bit, because all he's kind of the one telling everybody like, oh, by the way, these uniforms are like out of date, and I already know who the commander of the army is. I already know all this shit. I'm like, oh, Sokka has a lot of battlefield experience that these guys don't. That's interesting.
Yeah. So that would have been cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely missed potential there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and then like we said, and Katara are pretty heated about their thing. So Sokka, being the outside POV, can be like, oh, hey, why don't Aang, why don't you try Katara? And they're like pretty happy about that. And Sokka's like, well, hey, I'm not happy. Katara's like, well, you're never happy. Like, damn, brutal.
Yeah, that was kind of cold.
Yeah, cold. Get it? Yeah, funny. But yeah, and then that fight happens with Katara and Paku. And like I said, I like that all the girls in the crowd were kind of cheering and they were upset when Katara lost. And then at the end, when Katara is talking about how her grandmother left her whole life behind because she didn't want their customs to dictate her life. And then that's when Yue kind of breaks down in tears and runs off. And I love how you see the chief in the background. He's just like, what? He's like surprised. He's like, could it be that my daughter doesn't want to marry some douchebag?
No, couldn't be.
Could never. I can never imagine. I couldn't even fathom that. But then, Aang is like, hey, Sokka, like, go to her. And then Sokka goes to her, but I guess he gets lost or something because it's like several hours later at night when he finds her.
Yeah, I guess. We couldn't find her. I guess maybe. I don't know.
As we said, Katara was like, fight me in the Denny's parking lot. Sokka made a quick stop to the Denny's. He wanted to eat real quick.
Yeah, gotta woke up an appetite, I guess.
Oh, and don't forget, he had warrior training. He had to go do that off screen.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but he's never going to talk about it. But yeah, UA
is warrior training like Fight Club? You're not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, first rule about warrior training: don't talk about warrior training.
Don't even acknowledge it if it's asked about either.
Yeah, exactly. But I do like this detail where UA's at the same bridge as the night before.
Yeah.
So she's like, when Sokka shows up, she's like, what do you want from me? Like, go away. Oh, well, she shouldn't say go away, but she's very like, like her tone is kind of aggressive. But I like it that even though she's like all closed off, like she doesn't want to talk to Sokka. But again, the fact that she's at the same bridge that she promised to meet Sokka at kind of shows that like her like her feelings that are kind of conflicted.
Yeah, I like that.
Because that's a big thing is like in a second, like what she wants to do, what she feels like she needs to do, are kind of at odds.
Yeah, I wanted to say I like earlier too when she's like blowing off Sokka, like she's upset about it, but obviously she's not like being rude to like Sokka or anything like that type of thing. You get the fact that like
as we're about to talk about Sokka's like, hey, listen, like I get it, you're a Northern Water Tribe princess, and I'm just a peasant. Like we live in two different worlds. Kind of going for the whole Romeo and Juliet vibe. Like the star-crossed lovers.
And I do like that, like the whole episode he's been awkwardly like flirting with her, but now here he's like actually like being genuine here. Like he's not really being.
Yeah, well, not that he wasn't genuine before, but he was trying to like impress her. But here he's just being honest.
Yeah.
Which again, I also something UA likes is that like how honest Sokka is.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do like this where he's just saying, hey, listen, like I think you're beautiful and like you're great, but like it's okay. You don't like me, it's fine. But hey, I'll see you around, okay? And I do like this where she tries to like interrupt him, and she's like, no, Sokka, like that's not it. Like I don't think you're a peasant. But as Sokka's about to leave, she grabs him and she kisses him. And I do like this because when Suki kissed him before, it was like on the cheek real quick.
Yeah.
But this is like like full on the lips, and like it lasts a good couple seconds.
Yeah, I like that.
It's also funny because you don't really see a whole lot of like romance in Nickelodeon shows taken like seriously. Like even in Danny Phantom, like whenever there's a kiss, it's like the whole like make out fake out thing. They don't even show like a genuine kiss in that show until like the very end.
Yeah, but yeah, I can't think of another one really. So
Neutron, I think Jimmy and Cindy kiss, but that's also kind of like a quick, like a little play for joke thing.
yeah, they never have like a real like full on like kiss either. Yeah, not really. So,
Even Ben 10, he has a fucking girlfriend for like 6 seasons, and they don't kiss until like the end of Ultimate Alien.
oh my gosh, they're really waiting.
Anyway, quick thing. Well, I mean, I think it's implied that wasn't their first kiss, but like it's their on-screen kiss.
Yeah.
So like obviously it's for kids, so romance isn't like a focus, but that is something I appreciate about Avatar is that they kind of like are willing to play it straight.
Yeah, I like that.
For a joke.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and then Sokka kind of pulls away for a second. He's like, "Whoa, I am so lost right now," because again, he thought he had it figured out. I'm like, okay, she doesn't like me. It's fine. And then she goes out of her way to kiss him, and he's like, so many mixed signals. And listen, I've been in this situation where I'm like, I am so lost right now. I am getting so many fucking mixed signals from you. I don't know what to make of this.
Well, I had this yesterday when my friend kept wanting to like hang out. I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I like, because it wasn't gonna be able to work, and it was just a bunch of stress yesterday. So like, I was really confused.
Yeah. No, literally, I had this like a year ago where I was friends with this girl for like since high school, and she was like, I just like he's a friend, like we're not like I'm like, all right, cool, and then she just like grabs me and like makes out with me, and I'm like, I'm so lost right now.
Yeah, can't blame.
I don't know what to make of this. So relatable. But then, and then UA's like, hey, listen, like I do like you like a lot, but like it's we can't be together, and it's not the reason you think. It's because, and then she like lowers her collar, and we see the necklace that she's engaged,
mm-hmm.
and she, the episode kind of ends on that somber note. Again, going for the whole Romeo and Juliet vibes of like the star-crossed lovers who can't be together.
Yeah. Yeah, all of this was fine. I feel like a lot of this was rushed. And you really notice that because, again, you only have like 3 episodes in the North Pole and everything like that type of thing. So,
yeah.
Because you don't really get much of them. Like, again, obviously it would have been cool if like, they could have played this straight like Yue and Sokka like this episode if we were going to get more episodes to the North Pole. Like actually could have gone out on a date. And then when they go to kiss or something, like Yue could have been like, Yeah,
it's kind of like the Zuko and Ba Sing Se, where he goes on that date and he like kind of gets pressured into it, but he kind of like ends up having fun.
Yeah.
Like when I asked him about it, he slams the door, but then he opens it and he's like, it was nice.
Yeah.
That was really sweet. Because again, I like what we have here. Like they actually have really good chemistry together, and like I think their moments are really sweet. It's just like it's super fucking quick,
Yeah, because then it would have been nice to like in a future episode, Yue and Sokka could like hang out, but obviously like it's difficult for like both of them to not like jump to their feelings and everything like that. And then we actually get that episode in Sea to the North where Yue like even tells Sokka like we can't hang out anymore, like it's too hard type of thing. You actually would have felt it more than like that little scene they have in the beginning type of thing.
Yeah. Like you said, we pretty much have that thing of like, in between episodes, they've been friends hanging out. Yeah, and then UA's like, we can't do it anymore. And that's a pretty big deal considering that's kind of a big character thing for Sokka in book 2. Is like his guilt about UA.
Yeah.
And like, up on her. And then that would matter more if we got more of their relationship, just more screen time.
So I'm pretty sure then you could have gotten that reveal like about the blue, like her being like having the moon spirit and stuff and everything like that. Because you kind of get that like at the end of almost towards the end of part 2, like kind of conveniently like.
Literally, like it's when Zhao catches the fucking fish that Yue is like, by the way, I have this backstory with this fucking fish. I forgot to mention it.
So it would have been nice if we got that, because then we could have got that like a couple episodes like earlier and everything like that.
Yeah, yeah. Funny enough, okay, so it was done horribly, but the last Airbender movie brought that up a little bit sooner. Where Sokka and Yue are talking, and Sokka was making a joke of like, "Oh wow, you have white hair. That is very strange, young lady." And then Yue explains the whole like fucking fish thing.
But that
and
movie...
like horrible. I hate that I have to use the fucking last Airbender as an example, but the idea is good. Of Yue bringing it up when she's hanging out with Sokka.
Yeah. I mean, that movie also like didn't have Aang tell him that he was the Avatar until like later on. So.
And also, Yue's hair looked like a penis in that movie. I'm just saying, we've all thought it. So you know what?
Well, I haven't seen that far yet, so we have to wait.
Yeah, that was a big meme. When we first see Yue, we see her from like the back, and her hair looks like a dick.
That's funny. So, I guess this is
good romance. I just wish it was expanded on more. And again, like in this episode, it goes by so quick.
Yeah.
And again, I do like that Yue kind of breaks down crying when Katara talks about Kana, because she's probably thought about that multiple times, where she wants to kind of break away from her tribe's customs, but Kana was just a regular girl, whereas Yue is a princess. She has responsibilities. She can't just drop everything.
Yeah, I like that. Although I did like these plot lines. Again, all these plot lines are fine. It's just really ruined. I wouldn't even say ruined, but more not really expanded upon, because we don't get a lot of time in the North Pole and everything like that.
Yeah. Also, again, because that's another thing about that's supposed to make Yue tragic. She doesn't want to do her duty. She wants to live her own life, and at the very end, she has to sacrifice her life for her duty forever.
Yeah.
She has to be the moon spirit for presumably eternity. She can never be with Sokka, even though that she's that's what she wants.
Yeah. So
again, that would be very tragic. That Sokka maybe tries to convince her, hey, listen, you could come with us on our travels. You don't have to, live confined to your duty. And at the end of the day, she has to pick her duty over freedom.
Yeah, that sucks.
Again, the idea is there. I just want it expanded on.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, let's grade the episode. I am gonna give the episode probably a B+ at the end of the day. I think it's really great stuff. But in hindsight, obviously hindsight stuff, it's probably a solid B, because again, we don't get any of the stuff expanded upon. So
yeah, if this was a first viewing, probably an A or A-. But yeah, because this is all we get of the Water Tribe, I'm gonna have to go with B+.
Yeah, same. So, but 2 weeks, unless something changes, we'll be doing the season 1 finale of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the original cartoon and everything like that. So, yep. I'm excited about.
Forward to that. We also got Ben 10 coming up. We're going to be finishing up season 1 of Ben soon.
Yep. By the way, the 2-parter, by the way, should we do that make it one video but do it in 2 days?
Probably.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, next week we'll do the Ben videos. 2 weeks we'll do Siege of the North, and then the week after that we'll do season 1 finale of Ben. Maybe the Tuesday afterwards, we'll do maybe the Phineas and Ferb Walking Dead or something like that, and then we'll do the channel update video. And then we'll have some Evil Dead stuff to do, and then we're just gonna keep plugging away with. We're gonna do some in between stuff for Avatar. We're gonna do the in between stuff between book 1 and book 2, the comic, which I'll have to find somewhere. The Last Airbender movie.
Yeah.
So there you go. And that video of what we would change if we had more time in the North Pole. And then at probably a tier list of season 1. So got some Avatar stuff to do in between, which is going to be fun. So that's pretty much it, guys. And we will talk to you guys later.
Bye.